exotic, fresh from the harvest. Who'll be the largest, hardest, smartest label in town? Top dog.
Get down.
Radio won't play
Here
me.
we go.
Kids around the world going kid.
I'm John Senning. That's Dizzy. And normally we do it on a Thursday, but today it's a Tuesday. We got our good buddy Mo DeWitt of Just Call Mo in the building. Thanks for making the trip over, buddy.
Hey, thanks for having me. Thanks for shuffling it up a little bit.
Oh, of course. Did you have exciting plans in Tampa today, or just Thursday?
No, I'm going to Savannah on Thursday.
Oh, nice.
So.
What's in Savannah? Anything fun?
So my nephew has some sort of graduation from the Marines, which is like an hour from there. So we're going.
Oh,
there for that.
are you might be going to? Are you going to Brunswick? Are you going?
I think it's like Parrish Island or something like that.
Okay, yeah. Because I used to live in Brunswick, and I know they have there. God, I can't think of the name of it off the top of my head, but it's a training facility for certain branches of the military.
They also have a big paper plant there.
Oh,
don't they?
dude, the paper.
Yeah. I remember that smell.
That is not a smell that you will forget. The paper pulp smell. It's so weird because when I lived there, especially at first, I was so grossed out by it. But now, if I ever drive by,
it's like a fond memory.
Sentimental. Yeah, it's the same thing as I always talk about the fact we grew up from a farm, grew across the street from a farm, and we would get the manure smell. And now, when I smell that just the proper blend of fresh cut grass and manure, it takes me back to being a young boy. I was thinking. I think it was actually the day you were in last week. It might have been on Thursday when all hell broke loose during a comment that I made, and a debate broke out. And you're a guy that loves food. You love talking about food. You love a good meal.
Oh, yeah.
So I have to throw it at you. So I was simply just sharing some of the details of my weekend with Diz, and Drew was in here as well. And I was telling them that I was a little hungover and that I got a Mickey D's breakfast. And then I got, I got a sausage McMuffin. It doesn't really matter all of the different foods I got. But long story short, I got a Coke to drink with my McDonald's breakfast. What do you drink?
So we actually talked about this, and you said I'm a psychopath.
Oh, I did. We did already ask you. Oh, was nobody going to tell me? You just.
Yeah, we're letting you ease in.
Why is nobody cutting me off and saying we already did this?
It's your show.
I thought it was on. I thought this happened on the day that you were here. So screw this conversation. I guess we're. What was the answer again?
Water.
Yeah. Remember we said he was crazier for that answer?
Is you really going to let me drown out there, huh, man? That's what I need you for.
Thank you.
Just throw him a life raft.
Too much kumbaya. I want to see a little disruption.
I know. And that's why you go, no, dog, we already did that, man.
Oh, okay.
Get your head in the game.
Yeah.
So I teased it yesterday because, first of all, it didn't feel right to call you on a Saturday, Mo. Just so you know that.
I'm always here for you, John.
I know, but it just felt like, I consider us friends to a certain extent, but we work together in a certain way. So it's just I didn't know if I was taking advantage by calling you with what was a fairly non-consequential question. Even though you said you were in a massage chair at a trampoline park. Is that a thing?
What?
Yeah, my son had a birthday party at one of these trampoline parks.
Yeah.
And they had those massage chairs. So I just post up in the massage chair, get something to drink, get a little snack. And I was just, having a good old time while he ran around on the trampolines.
And the next thing you know, you look down and I'm calling, which you have to think, he's not just calling to say hello.
I don't know.
Was your initial thought like, oh, man, my guy's in trouble?
No, actually, I was like, oh, he's got some sort of idea he wants to pitch to me.
He's like, oh, no.
Like that.
He wants to ask you if you drink soda for breakfast.
Exactly. I got a hard-hitting question for you.
For the third time this week. So what had happened is I was out of town. I was at my parents' house for Mother's Day and for my nephew's birthday, and almost shortly after I arrived, my phone rings and it's my wife, and I put her on the phone with my little nephew. And he's like, hey, and she immediately is like, no, I need to talk to you. I need to, John. And so I can immediately tell something is wrong. And from the story that I've been told, and from what I understand, she was going to the beach. She was down on St. Pete Beach, and the parking lot was full. So I think she was going to park somewhere across the street. And while moving about, she was turning right. She was turning right with a green light. And when she went to turn right, out of nowhere came a kid who was 16 years old on one of those motorized bike / scooter type things.
Like an e-bike type thing?
Something like that. And slams into the side of her. Her car has got I wouldn't call it significant damage, but there's a big dent where you can tell this kid ran into the car. And then when she went forward, his bike must have just scratched along the whole side of the vehicle. And she calls me and she says, this kid is fine. He wants to leave. I don't want to wait for the cops to come. And honestly, this car is kind of beat up. It's dented all around. She goes, I don't really care about, probably not going to get it fixed anyways. Do you think I'm good to leave? Because there's people, there were some witnesses, some passerbys who got in her ear and were like, you need to call the cops. You need to call the cops immediately. So, of course, on a Saturday while he's sitting in the massage chair at the trampoline park, I call up Mo and I say, is she good to just go? So will you give me the answer that you gave me on that day when I said, what would be the potential ramifications if they just leave?
I mean, it's always best to call the police and get an accident report, because in a situation like that, especially when it's a car versus a scooter or a bike or a pedestrian, the fear is, a day later, 2 days later, they come back and make a claim and try to say the other car is at fault, or in this case, your mom's at fault.
But my wife.
Or, excuse me, your wife. And, if you didn't get the witnesses' names, if you don't have a police report, now it's just your word against their word, and it can make things much, much more messy.
So what, because my thought, and this probably isn't the healthy way to look at it, but what I told her was, how is this guy ever going to find you? And so let's just say you are contacted by somebody like the kid. You're contacted by somebody who's in the kid's position, and he goes, she hit me. We kind of made this decision that we weren't going to do anything. I don't have a license plate number. I don't know who she is. Is there a way to move forward with that case? Or
sometimes, if we can find, video surveillance in the area, we've had those kind of cases. It was more of a hit and run than this scenario. But then they get on a toll road, and we can get the camera footage, and so match the time on the cameras versus the description of the vehicle and find the person that way. So there are ways, but obviously, if you don't get the information, it can make it a lot more difficult.
So do you have can anybody get access to all that stuff, or would you actively have investigators go out and procure all that?
Well, both. So most of the cameras in the state of Florida are public record. Now, there are systems that record it and download it for you that you pay to get access to kind of pull prior footage. We do have investigators who go out and, if it's a local business, may stop by the business and say, hey, do you have camera footage on this day at this time, things like that.
That is crazy. Well, the punchline and what actually happened here, leave it to my legal professional wife, who came up with her own idea of what she should do, which she got the kid to record a video saying that it was his fault and that he was going too fast and that he didn't see her blinker and didn't know that she was going to be turning. Is that, let's say that he wrote down her license plate. Yeah. He knows who she is, and kind of what you said was your concern. This kid goes home and mommy and daddy go, well, let's see if we can sue this lady.
Right.
And then we show up to court with this video. How does that hold up in court, and does it mean anything?
Well, it's evidence, right? It's evidence of an admission of a party opponent in this case, where he's saying that he was at fault, but his defense to that most likely would be that he's under duress. There's an adult there who's forcing him to give a statement, coerced. Maybe there was a gun aimed at him off camera. I don't know. But, there's things that obviously he could say say, hey, I didn't really mean what I was saying at the time. She was actually at fault. I just felt like I had to do this.
Yeah, and it sounded like he wanted the cops to come less than she did. She didn't, she was there to meet up with friends. She didn't want to be sitting around for hours waiting for them, but he was adamantly, please, let's just move on from this. And I'm sure he was worried about getting in trouble or some variation of it. But the car is, obviously in rough shape, and the kid's alive, and the cops didn't come, and nobody's getting sued. So that's all there is to it, I guess. So not necessarily your advice, but at least we are armed with something.
A little something for now. Hopefully he doesn't come back and sue, and hopefully everything works out. The problem is, when that happens, it is quite an inconvenience to call the police and wait for the police, because it can take them, if it's Florida Highway Patrol coming out, it can take 3-4 hours sometimes, depending on their backlog.
That is insane. For the most part, is your professional legal advice, you got to go through with it? Like that's a little different because it was a kid and it's not too. If it's two vehicles, is it always better to stay and wait?
Especially if there's significant injuries or damage to the vehicle. It will even though it's going to take a few hours to wait for the police, it will save you weeks of headache going forward.
Way back a few years ago on my birthday, I got in a 3-car accident.
Oh, damn.
Someone it was driving literally to what's that place? Sugar Shack has a new location out there.
Bonita Springs?
Bonita Springs.
Yeah.
I was driving out to Bonita Springs and it was raining. Dead stop traffic. I come to a dead stop and I literally see in the rear view mirror that someone's about to hit me. Get hit the car in front of me. Police happened to be not too far back, kind of saw it, wrote a report. Months and months later, when I'm dealing with, this whole case, the driver in front of me said I hit him before the car hit him. But there was a police report that said otherwise.
Oh, so
if I didn't have the police report, it would have been an argument and then the whole thing.
So that covered your ass.
Yeah, it covered my ass.
Yeah,
So wait for the cops.
Yeah, that's the thing. I would imagine specifically how big of a detriment is it for most people? Like let's just say that you're rear-ended and you go, I think I'm fine. My car is pretty much fine. And then you do go home and because I think is there a window of time in which you can report it after you're hit?
Most policies say within a reasonable period of time, which is kind of presumed to be 30 days, but obviously
30 days.
It's usually a better, the sooner the better.
Okay, so hypothetically, if you're rear-ended and everybody agrees not to call anybody and you decide 28 days later I'm hurting and something's going on, you're not outside of the window of time where something could be done.
Right. I mean, they're going to argue that there's a delay in treatment, that it was from something else. It opens the window up to a bunch of other arguments for the insurance company to make, but it doesn't absolutely deny a claim.
That's crazy.
I was told that I was going to feel it. Because when I got in a hair, I told the cop, I think I'm fine. He goes, you're going to feel it.
Yeah.
It takes a while, especially with adrenaline and all that. And I felt it going into the night. It felt like someone was pinching me as I turned and stuff like that. And I go, can we even still do anything? And person I was with, the cop said it's okay. I didn't know we had 30 days.
Yeah, It's crazy. I was once hit by a guy in a work truck. It was a Babcock Furniture work truck, and the guy I forget exactly how it went down because the cops came and everything, and I had initially I was hurting. I went and saw a doctor right after, and I think I had even talked to an attorney, and this guy, they couldn't get a hold of him. He was essentially evading any responsibility.
We've had that before. Yeah.
So he's just completely evading. The craziest thing was this was when I lived out in Leesburg. I'm driving up the road one day, and I look over, and there's the dude in the Babcock truck working, and I follow. You're gonna love this, Diz. I called the cops, and I followed.
I'm in pursuit, officer.
I followed his ass. And I don't think anything ever came of it, but the cops did come that day, and he did end up at least having to face the noise a little bit.
I have a question for you regarding it because that just reminded me of something. Way back, years and years ago, when I was driving over the Howard Franklin, someone pointed a gun at me from their car, and I called the cops. You're welcome. Yeah, and the cops told me, "We'll stay with him till the cops come." And I'm like, I'm not following this guy. Are they allowed to tell you that? Because I felt so unsafe. He's like, well, you got to follow him so they know who to pull over. I'm like, I don't know.
I feel like today they give you the exact opposite advice. Of, give us the vehicle description and the plate if you can get it, but do not pursue them.
Yeah.
Do not follow them because they don't want them putting yourself in danger. They don't want you putting other people in danger as well. You're chasing after this guy. Now you're causing a car accident where you kill other people.
Yeah.
And it's all because they told you to do it. I mean, that's not a good situation.
Because I gave the license and everything and the car and the make, and they're like, all right, well, can you stay with him? Because we have an officer not too far down, miles down, so they know who to stop. I'm like, I just gave you everything.
Well, and the thing is, there must be some discretion involved because I've heard both. I've heard people say both where they're like, stay away, thank you for your service, thank you for calling, but do not follow. And then other times they seem to be a little more at peace with you following them.
In my head, I thought, I'm going to follow this guy. Cop's going to pull over. He's going to shoot this guy like it's nothing. He's going to shoot the cop. And then guess who's going to draw his attention to?
We're in the midst of legal briefs with Mo DeWitt. Hit him up at justcallmoe.com, 866-CALL-MOE, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We like to pull some things from the headlines, get his opinion, get a professional legal opinion on some of the more wild things going on in the realm of law. It really felt like the public interest in this case peaked when they did the Netflix documentary, and then everybody just kind of stopped paying attention to it. But Lyle and Eric Menendez are going to face a Los Angeles court today for a key hearing in their bid to cut short the life prison terms they are serving for the shotgun murders of their parents in the Beverly Hills home 35 years ago. Defense lawyers are seeking a reduced sentence for the brothers, now 57 and 54, that would allow for their immediate release or make them eligible to be considered for parole. The outcome could hinge on fresh defense evidence in support of the brothers' assertion since the early days of the case that they had been sexually abused by their father. He was a record company and entertainment industry executive, uncertain whether the defendants themselves would be physically present for the proceedings. Mo, talk to us a little bit about when the circumstances change, because I think in their second trial they were alleging this. Now they have more evidence. How likely is it that this will be heard properly and these guys end up walking?
Well, it was actually the first trial that resulted in a hung jury that they were allowed to bring this evidence.
And then they did in the second one.
Second time, it was kind of after the O.J. Simpson trial. Things had kind of shifted in the atmosphere, especially in California, and the judge granted the motion in limine, keeping all of this evidence out. So they were not allowed to raise that defense in the second trial, where they were ultimately convicted and sentenced to life in prison. So, this is a pretty rare occurrence, and it was really, kind of sparked all by the Netflix documentary is really what sort of relit the interest in this. And then you had a prosecutor in California, the prosecutor for this area, who was in support of their resentencing after the Netflix documentary, but he lost the election, and now you have a prosecutor who's against it. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. I don't know the exact likelihood, but what they're basically asking for is that the sentence be changed from life in prison to 50 years to life, which would then make them eligible for parole. They'd still have to go through the parole board process to get released, or, and this I think is more unlikely, that the charge be reduced to manslaughter. I don't really see that happening. I'm not even really sure the legal basis to do that at this point in time, but their attorney's Mark Garagos, who's been involved in this Diddy trial as well. His daughter's on Diddy's defense team. There's some question what his involvement is there, but he's not officially one of Diddy's attorneys. But he's going to go argue this. Prosecutors are now against it, where before, for the Menendez brothers, that's got to be a blow, because they were sitting back being like, I'm going to get out of prison.
Yeah.
Mark Garagos was saying they were going to be out of prison by Thanksgiving of 2024.
It looked like it. It looked like it. Especially on the heels of that of the documentary, it felt like it was impending fact that they were getting released.
Yeah, and then that guy lost the election, and man, they had to be not real happy about that.
That's tough. So, I guess reading it sounds kind of confusing, but it does just change everything. If you can prove that there were years of abuse, it is what the law saying at that point. There's a little more understanding for why you would have killed your parents. Is that essentially what they're getting to?
It's a mitigating circumstance, right? Yeah. So it would be a mitigating circumstance of. They were trying to argue it more of a justification for the murder. Obviously, that was not allowed. But even still, at sentencing, and it of course depends on the state. This is California. Every state's slightly different. There can be mitigating circumstances, whether it be you're a youthful offender, maybe there's mental health issues, drug issues, or abuse issues, things like that. So those can be factored in when the judge is considering a sentence for somebody. So that's essentially what they're arguing here, is that this should be a mitigating circumstance, and rather than life in prison, it should be reduced to 50 years to life, which I think that's the more likely outcome if there is any reduction in the sentence. I think it's fairly unlikely. I could be wrong, but I think it's fairly unlikely that the charges will be reduced to manslaughter given the opposition from the prosecutor.
But they would have already served that time, hypothetically, and could be released.
Right. Supposedly, if they were... or if the judge were to reduce the charges to manslaughter, they would basically be immediately released, because they've been in jail 30 years now, which is well over the maximum sentencing for manslaughter, I believe.
We've got Mo DeWitt with us here in the midst of legal briefs. Last week we touched on a terrible, at least we all kind of came to the conclusion it was a bit of a reach of a class action lawsuit regarding the size of the Whopper. This one's got some teeth, though. If you have owned an Apple device since 2014, you could be due some cash. Anyone with a Siri-enabled device may be eligible to file a claim as part of a $95 million class action lawsuit against the company. The lawsuit, Lopez v. Apple, accused the tech giant's voice assistant of spying on users and recording private conversations after unintentionally activating Siri. It is alleged that recordings happened even when users didn't say the prompt, "Hey Siri." Eligible enabled devices included an iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, MacBook, iMac, HomePod, iPod, Apple TV. The suit was filed by this guy, Fumiko Lopez, and other consumers in a California federal court in 2021. And they allege the recorded discussions were shared with third-party businesses, such as restaurants and brands, which led to targeted ads. I think, obviously, the element of this specific lawsuit is interesting, but I think the bigger question here is, what can and can't big tech do? We talk about it all the time, whether it's the ads that you see that pop up on your Facebook feed or, your actual content that you get from an algorithm on TikTok. Our phones are listening to us. Where are the lines in which these companies can cross, and how do they cross them legally?
Well, like in this case, they told us that the only time they would actually listen is when you activated a certain word. And so, apparently, according to this lawsuit and from everyone's experience, that technology may not be perfect where they're listening other times. Maybe they're deliberately listening. Maybe they're accidentally listening. I think this only kind of says accidentally.
Yeah.
There's maybe some argument that's more deliberate, but basically, if someone's deceiving you, if a company is deceiving you and say, "Hey, this only is going to listen to you when you want it to," right? Otherwise, it's an invasion of privacy. So it's really more of a deceptive test. What they're selling deceptive to you? Are they misleading you in any way? Things along those lines.
Do you, and I don't know that you know the ins and outs of this, but, when we get a new phone, we have to scan through 5, 6, 7 different pages where we're accepting user agreements that I probably would guarantee 99% of people never, ever even read. Right. Are they just so good that they've got their ass covered, and that maybe, this came in at 2021, which feels, or no, it actually goes back to 2014. So it almost feels like a lifetime ago. Are these companies getting better at covering their ass for being able to listen to you and utilize that to then market certain items towards you?
Well, I mean, their fine print's always going to cover them pretty well. The terms of service are always pretty in favor of the company, obviously. But that still doesn't change that they can't be deceptive in their advertising. They can't mislead you as to what you're buying, how it works, in order to sort of steal your personal information or invade on your privacy. So that's really the key to most of these lawsuits. It's not so much about the terms of service, because even if they buried it in there, I think there'd still be a strong argument where if you're advertising that it only works in a certain way, you're not really disclosing that to the public, even though maybe it's buried in these terms of service, that you're still being deceptive.
According to the legal notice, consumers who owned or purchased a Siri-enabled device and experienced an unintended Siri activation during a confidential or private communication between September 17th and December 31st, or September of 2014 and December of 2024, you can now file a claim to get a payout. Do some of these massive lawsuits, does it end up just being everybody gets like a buck? I mean, is it you get so many people involved where there's just the amount of money can only go so high and the amount of people can only go so high, nobody ends up really making any money?
It can. I mean, typically, there's lawyer fees. Usually with class actions, the lawyers are the ones who are benefiting. But then there's a pool of money usually put aside for the potential claimants, and they try to estimate the amount of claimants. Here, I think it's $25 per device, up to 4 devices. That you can get, so up to $100 per person, basically.
Nothing.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy.
Hey, we spied on you. Here's $25.
Yeah, and the lawyer's probably got like $20 million.
That's insane. This is interesting because, I don't know how often it's happening, but I know that throughout all of mankind, there have been some women who have faked some pregnancies for different scenarios. This one just happens to be a guy who's kind of well known. A woman who had claimed a former contestant on the TV reality show The Bachelor owed her child support is now facing criminal charges after investigators say the entire thing was a hoax. Laura Michelle Owens is charged with fraudulent schemes, forgery, perjury, tampering with physical evidence after allegedly attempting a paternity scheme. Clayton Eckerd, who appeared on season 18 of The Bachelorette and season 26 of The Bachelor, was named in a 2023 paternity suit, who claimed that Eckerd had fathered her twins. The prosecutors say Owens faked a sonogram image and videos pretending to be pregnant and then lied under oath repeatedly as part of the suit in an attempt to get money from this guy. In a post, justice is finally served. The guy shared on Instagram in a video after the charges were announced. This nightmare is over. I am so ready to not have to think about this anymore. I have lots of questions, and they may not all be directed at the law element. If this lady was never going to have kids, how was she ever going to get the money? Like, could she was the thought that you could make him think that you're pregnant and then disappear and he would potentially pay for children that he would never see and never existed?
I mean, maybe she was trying to get some money to cover the pregnancy cost. I mean, it's a great question because it doesn't really make sense. Maybe she was going to borrow a niece or a nephew or somebody
for the rest of its life.
This is your kid.
Just a fresh baby.
Only till 18.
You know, people are crazy. I mean, who knows what her actual scheme was? But yeah, it doesn't seem very well thought out, at least from what we know.
And what is the within the law of going after fathers for child support with a child that doesn't exist? Is that something that is happening out there, or is this just a reality TV thing that is catching a little fire?
I mean, I think it's fairly rare. There is the rare occasion where somebody's paying child support and then finds out the child is not his. You know, that's probably more common. And there's been quite a bit of case law about that. But here, where somebody's just blatantly defrauding another person, I would say it's fairly rare.
And I want to touch on this before we get to a little bit of Diddy stuff, because I've always been just fascinated there's commercials that run in the middle of the night where they want you to get on board with class action lawsuits to sue Roundup because, now, and I'm talking about Roundup, the item that people, the product that people spray in their garden and the weed killer all around. And now there are memes that say it won't just kill your weeds, it will kill your pets, your family, all the birds, all the bugs and everything. And there's some pretty good factual evidence out there that it has caused cancer in certain people. And explain to me how this happens. In a victory for the global company Bayer, Georgia has become the second state to shield pesticide manufacturers from lawsuits, claiming that they failed to warn customers of potential dangers. The legislation was signed last week by the Georgia governor, Brian Kemp, and it is designed to protect Bayer from lawsuits claiming that it failed to tell customers that the weed killer Roundup could cause cancer. It's written broadly enough to provide legal protection in Georgia to any pesticide manufacturer that follows federal labeling requirements. What is the benefit? What is the average person missing here? Where it looks like this governor is trying to protect a big corporation. Is it not quite as it seems, or is it dirty as it sounds?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's lobbyists coming in, and Roundup's had to pay billions of dollars at this point because they've caused a lot of people cancer who use this product. They've now reformulated it, as
right, which I have heard, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's simply as they shove this into some insurance reform package that they convinced people that was going to lower their insurance rates and was going to be great for everybody, but we really know what's going on. It's the lobbyists out there pumping a bunch of money into people's pockets and getting this thing done.
Yeah, North Dakota's governor signed the first such law last month, and similar measures have been considered this year in at least 9 other states. Bayer is based in Germany, acquired Roundup in 2018 from the St. Louis-based Monsanto, which we've heard a lot of bad things about that, and it quickly was hit with an onslaught of lawsuits alleging that Roundup's key ingredient, glyphosate, causes non-Hodgkin lymphoma. More than 67,000 of a total 181,000 claims involving Roundup remain outstanding. So this is very much still going on. Do you think that this wouldn't do anything for the lawsuits that are already actively in the court system?
Not the ones that are ongoing, and this is a state law, and most of those cases are brought in federal court. So I think they'd still have standing under a federal law, but it would prevent, in some of these cases, if there's not an avenue to pursue it in federal court, because there has to be certain requirements to do so, then they will try to file individual actions in state court. So this is insulating them from those state court actions, making it harder to sue people, the manufacturers who fail to warn about possible carcinogens and cancers and things like that. So yeah, it's not a real good thing in my opinion.
I'm scared of all of that stuff. I only use vinegar and dish soap on all of the weeds. It doesn't work very well, but I'm just scared of having that stuff around the house at all, especially with the dog.
But there's been similar efforts by Uber to make it harder to sue Uber if Ubers are in car accidents because they want to try to insulate them from liability. So there's this ongoing effort, and in my opinion, you can disagree with me, but I think they're trying to deceive the public, saying, "Hey,
oh, absolutely,
everyone's insurance rates are through the roof, so it's kind of, hey, we're going to make your insurance rates go down." But they never guarantee that. They always say it's just going to happen as part of market conditions. It never does. Insurance rates have only gone one direction in my life, and that's up. So.
And it feels like that's the only way they ever will go. Like I don't think we're going to live through the great renaissance of insurance prices. Pushing down. We're joined by Mo DeWitt. Just call MOE.com, 866, call MOE. He's Tampa's injury attorney. We've been riveted by the Diddy trial, and the opening statements got underway yesterday. And it was interesting. One of the first things that the prosecution showed, which it's disturbing, is the video of Diddy beating up his then girlfriend Cassie. And they came, which led to the defense to say, hey, this guy, he's a domestic abuser. He may be doing some bad things. It's always so interesting to see what can be brought into certain arguments and what can't. Are these charges just so broad that is relevant to the case? Because so many times we hear about cases where you go, well, that's not relevant. We can't bring that. And he was also never charged with that. If he had been charged and got a domestic violence charge tied to that video, would it have made it harder for that to be introduced as evidence into this case?
Well, I mean, it's because these charges are so broad. So
far-reaching.
Yeah, I mean, he's charged, with sex trafficking, racketeering, forced labor, and things along those lines. And Cassie actually sued him, civilly for sex trafficking. He settled the lawsuit. So, this video is directly evidence of, one instance of what she's alleging is sex trafficking, which is why it's admissible here. But it is important to note that typically, prior bad acts that don't relate to the actual criminal charges are not permitted. So, if he were charged with murder here and it was of a completely different person, you can't bring in this video of him, beating Cassie and say, look, he's a bad guy, so he must have murdered this person. So typically that's not allowed. But because this video actually relates to the charges in the indictment, they can bring that in and show it to the jury.
And it's, we've been talking and wondering so much about what videos they have, and are there videos of these freak offs with, God knows who, celebrities and victims and things like that. What is the average tactic specifically, from a prosecutor when it comes to what you're going to say and do during your opening statements? Because my thought would be, if you've got a smoking gun, if you've got something that's essentially going to put this case to bed immediately, do you show it up front? Because the video that they showed, obviously, in the opening statements, this is a video that a lot of us had seen before. Are you waiting for the right moment to show them the thing that's going to blow everybody's mind and become the headline news? Or does the fact that they showed that during the opening statement maybe give a little hint that there might not be much behind it?
Well, typically in opening statements, you want to kind of lay out the story of the case. You want to tell the jury where this case is going, what your theory is, where you see the evidence going. Now, there's kind of a split, amongst lawyers as to whether you should put your most damning evidence up front or if you should save it to the end of the case, which is more memorable to the jury.
Yeah.
They're going to be there for at least a few weeks, so there's going to be a lot of information thrown at them. But from a prosecutor standpoint, I think it's a very strong beginning to the case to start with this, very visceral, horrific, emotional video, and they're obviously going to remember that. But you bring up a good point. Maybe that's the biggest piece of evidence they have. Maybe it's not. I don't know. But they're certainly starting off on a note of, hey, we're going to kind of throw this right in your face.
So I don't know if you remember hearing about this, but Diddy has his legal team or whatever. In regards to the tape, there was one guy who left his legal team after watching the tapes. Is that allowed, or is it kind of like it's a breach of contract almost with athletes, where it's kind of like, now in the legal sense, you left my team, it's making me look bad because you were part of my legal team, and now you leaving after you saw these tapes hurts my case.
And can that be used?
Yes.
Can that be used in court?
Good call.
It can't be used, but all the attorney is typically allowed to say is that there's I can't talk today. Irreconcilable differences. So
Okay.
they can't say I watched this tape. I can't represent you. You're a horrible person. they can't even say you didn't pay me, so I'm not going to represent you. All they can say is there's irreconcilable differences, and therefore I can no longer represent you. And that could be in a number of different things. I don't agree with your strategy. You didn't pay me. I got a better offer from somebody else. I want
like
to
a
go on a
blanket
family
excuse?
vacation. Yeah, I mean, basically, it's just saying, hey, there's something here where I can't represent this individual. But if they did come out and let's say they said, hey, I watched this video, I can no longer represent the person, that would be a violation of their oath, and they could be sanctioned or subject to disciplinary proceedings for that.
We've been wondering so much, what is potentially going to be on some of these videos. Is the whole landscape of a trial like this, is it even possible that they could flip a tape on in that courtroom that would shock the world? Like at this point, would that already have to be known? And is there a chance that it would be, because, the defense has to have access to it obviously as well. Let's just say there's a video, I'm speaking, hyperbolic statements here. There's a video of Ashton Kutcher, Diddy, and Justin Bieber, something that's just going to blow everybody's mind.
Yeah.
Could that just be flipped on in a courtroom and shock the world in that moment? Or do you kind of feel like if that existed, we'd already be hearing about it?
Well, typically everything has to be disclosed to the other party. There's very few exceptions. Things like rebuttal evidence could possibly not be disclosed, but they should even still be disclosed as possible evidence. So in most cases, everything has to be exchanged between the prosecutor and the defense team. Now, that doesn't mean that that either one of those have released it to the public for any reason. However, if there was something involving somebody else, I would think that we may see them hire counsel and try to intervene to have those reviewed in camera, meaning they're not played in the open courtroom, to kind of keep some privacy and protect those individuals.
Speaking of protection, if you're subpoenaed, does the court provide travel costs, hotels, commute? Do they cover all that type of stuff? Or is it like, hey, you're subpoenaed, but also you got to pay to get over here?
So typically you have to pay to get there. Now, depending what court you're in, what state you're in, if you're outside a certain mile radius, again, it varies by state to state, they may provide some minimal compensation, things like that. You can also move for a protective order to appear via Zoom or something like that.
Okay.
He is Mo DeWitt. Find him at justcallmoe.com. He's Tampa's injury attorney. 866-CALL-MOE. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Always enjoy spending time with you, buddy. Thanks for making the trip out today.
Thank you, guys.
We'll be back. We've got that thing. You sent me something yesterday, Diz, that I really want to dig into. It pertains to the Jelly Roll concert here in Tampa. He did something very, very sweet that involves somebody else, and you posed a question along with it, and we're going to dig into it next with that thing on Senning Show. JustCallMo.com.
I was gambling in Havana. I took a little risk.
Switching to Hawkins Service Co. is simple and stress-free. With over 30 years of trusted service, Hawkins offers expert HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and pool repair. One call really, truly handles it all. With over 3,000 five-star reviews, Hawkins has earned a reputation for reliability and quality across the region. From repairs and maintenance to upgrades, Hawkins is the go-to solution for everything you need done inside your home. And they've always got tons of great specials going on. Like right now, you can get free duct sanitizing with any duct system purchase. And they've always got that 10% off for anybody who's using them for the first time, if you heard it right here on The Bone. Make the call, 813-445-8209. You can even book an appointment online at hawkinsserviceco.com. Hawkins, one call, handles it all.
I'm a desperate man.
You're listening to Senning Show on 102.5 The Bone. Download the free Bone app to listen to us anywhere. Sponsored by Mark Spain Real Estate. Get your guaranteed offer at markspain.com.
You know where Gator Nation goes for fine jewelry and engagement rings? Only one place. International Diamond Center. IDC is the premier jeweler, the only jeweler to ever be named official jeweler of the Gators. It's a Florida family-owned company with an impeccable reputation for quality, value, and integrity. Did you know that IDC is one of only a handful of jewelers around the country that refuses to sell lab-grown diamonds? At IDC, they only sell real, rare, precious, and natural diamonds made by Mother Earth, so you can be assured of lasting value. They're also the only authorized retailer for all of the top bridal designers, featuring handcrafted rings made in America. So, if you're getting engaged or celebrating a special occasion, let the non-commissioned experts at International Diamond Center guide you every step of the way. You will get the value you want, the quality you can have confidence in, and the experience you deserve. Get all the details at shopidc.com. International Diamond Center, official jeweler of the Gators.
If you want your windows there in weeks, pick up the phone and just text Reese.
John Setting here. Are you ready to win $15,000 in new impact windows from Reese Windows? Well, pick up your phone right now and text the word TRUST to 20129. That's TRUST to 20129.
Have you been hurt in an accident? Burnett EPA is here with a quick response. One call and we're on it. It's fast, easy, and focused on you. Quick action, real results. Burnett EPA, we're ready. Offices Lakeland, Tampa, St. Pete.
Are you looking for quality fencing material but not sure where to start? Fence Outlet has everything from wood to aluminum, vinyl, and chain link. They even have fence-in-a-box starter packages that contain everything for the average backyard. Consult with a knowledgeable Fence Outlet representative and they'll help you get started today. Go to fenceoutlet.com. License number C10252 and C10803.
John Setting here for the National Aviation Academy. Are you somebody who needs to get that hands-on experience when you're learning something new? Are you trying to start a new path in life? Are you sick and tired of your 9-to-5? Well, think about a career in the world of aviation maintenance. And we've got the NAA right here in beautiful Clearwater. They're going to make the transition from whatever you got going on in your life to the campus world as smooth as possible. The next class starts May 29th. Make that change in your life today and visit naa.edu.
COVID-19 has cast a spotlight on the stark inequalities that drive poverty. The poorest communities in the U.S. and around the world are suffering the most. Oxfam believes we can put systems in place to protect health and livelihoods in the future if we work together with dignity and compassion. Learn how you can help offer safety to the most vulnerable and fight for a more resilient future at oxfamamerica.org. Sponsored by Oxfam America.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. Wounded Warrior Project was created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war, whether those scars are physical or mental. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind, ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Time marches on, and a lot has changed. But one thing has not changed. Washington regulations on local stations. Regulations that make it tough for local TV and radio stations to compete with global big tech platforms. If you want to keep local news, weather, and live sports on TV and radio, we need updated regulations. Tell Washington to modernize the rules to help local stations compete. Learn more at nab.org/modernize the rules. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
How did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you. All of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Malcolm is a listening learner. So he checks with Babbel's speech recognition to be
Precio.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Now, back to Real Raw Radio. Sponsored by Anajar and Levine, accident attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
You might know nothing, but at least you'll know that thing. Brought to you by Just Call Mo, Tampa's injury attorney. That thing. It's time for That Thing right now on Senning Show.
1, 2, you know what to do. Yeah, I'm like, oh God, oh my God. Y'all run the game, y'all just commentate from the side. I'm like, oh God, oh my God. Everything I do, you know I do it for the squad. I'm like, oh God, oh my God.
Welcome back to Senning Show. I'm John Senning. He's Dizzy. 800-771-1025.
For the squad, I'm like, this the type of shit they said they really wanted.
Thanks again to Mo DeWitt. I had one other thing I wanted to throw at him. It's not legal at all, but since he's not here, I'm just going to bring it up. I've got a, and I know people listen in my neighborhood too, so it worries me bringing it up. Dude, I've got I got a beef building with my neighbor.
No.
Dude, and it's, I've let it go for so long, and it finally has gotten to a point where I have to do something. And it's really going to be just a conversation. My thing is, when it comes to confronting people over certain things, like if you don't know that what you're doing is wrong, then I don't even feel it's worth having the conversation. I don't know. I don't know what my course of action is.
Yeah.
But also, we're all adults, and I would hope that we all have just a shred of decency and common sense. That if I've got to come to you and explain to you why that is not cool, then I feel like we've already lost, and I'm not going to be the guy to teach you as an older gentleman what is right and wrong it's something stupid, and you're gonna laugh at me.
And it's not the dog guy.
No,
right?
it's not the dog guy.
You got a busy neighborhood, dog.
It's not the dog guy. It's very, very simple. And I'm sure other people have had instances like this happen before, but the problem is I just stew over it. So I've talked to you about the fact that I care about my lawn. I try to put love into my lawn. It's getting a little long right now, but for the most part, I love taking care of my lawn. I love, everything. I love getting the edges, blowing it with the leaf blower. And this guy on the side of us, dude, he mows his lawn, and he legitimately takes all of the grass off of his driveway and blows it into my driveway to the point to where Danielle's car is caked in grass. My driveway is full of grass, like literally all of the clippings from his lawn. I watch him do it. He just sprays it out of his driveway, out of his yard, right into my driveway, which I will blow, from time to time, even when I'm not mowing, just because I don't want any leaves or debris or anything in it. And so this past, I'm trying to think when it was. It must have been Sunday, because I guess I had just gotten home. This was Friday.
This is
Friday
like the fourth time
this has happened so many times.
You never talked to him about it.
And I've
just stewed on it.
And what I honestly do is, as soon as he's done, I go get my blower, and then I don't.
Blow back?
No, I don't, because you want to know what? I'm not. I just
not that guy.
Do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
I blow it into the grass. I get it out of the way. I get it on the sides. So that's what I normally do. Well, this time we had just went out. It was Friday night. We went out. We had a couple drinks. We picked up some food to go, and this guy at like 7:30, 8 o'clock is out there finishing up mowing his lawn. And as we pull into the driveway, he's actively blowing the grass into our yard, onto the driveway. Danielle's car is already coated in grass.
Kids' blood, now grass.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I'm sitting there and I'm looking. I'm just standing there. Like I'm just hoping that the way I'm standing there staring at him is it's registering with him that I'm feeling some sort of way. So then he's within 5 feet of me. I go over. Another little tidbit here. Not the best English. Just a tidbit. Doesn't matter, but it's just a tidbit. So, and we just have never been able to, like, I want to be friends with all my neighbors. Like, I want to be cool with them. I want to be a good neighbor. If it was up to me, we'd all be friends.
There's over to the back. His eyes would just be above the fence, giving you life tips.
Hell yeah, Wilson style.
Yeah.
Yes, just like that. But that's not the case with this guy. I can't connect with him. I just can't. And I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's him. So then here's the thing. He came over, like he walked over when he was done, because I'm creeping. I'm looking out the window every 5 seconds, like he's going to have to. Probably the worst he's ever done. Like the most grass in our driveway ever. And I'm just kind of looking out the window, and he comes into the driveway and like looks. Like he was almost like he was proud of his work. Like he looked at all the grass in my driveway and even looked at Danielle's car. And I'm like, I even said to her, I said, oh, he's going to take care of it this time. I guess my glares did enough. Sure enough, dude just walks back, doesn't touch anything, doesn't touch a thing.
So what do you do at this point?
And well, so I was, I kept saying to Danielle, and I will tell you at this point, I had a couple. Had a couple. So I was feeling a little bit braver. And I was like, I think I'm going to go say something to him. So first I went out and got my blower. So I get my blower, and then I'm just aggressively blowing it back.
Yeah.
This time it was a little more back than it is. And I was hoping that once I got out in front of his house and got into the street and stuff, he would come back out. But he just never came back out. So I'm a bitch. He cucked me.
So why don't you just go over and knock on his door and be like, look, like, I can appreciate you want to clean up all your stuff. Little more, awareness of where you're blowing the stuff, because I've been you should tell him, I've been kind of quiet, but this has happened for a while and it's kind of getting to me now.
You know what my concern is you hear these stories of people who have horrific neighbors. Like things go wrong, like a beef starts, and then I don't know, I think I know that these people aren't complete psychos, but you just never know. So my only hesitancy is that I go over there and this guy I'm now the bad guy.
Okay, let's role play.
All right.
You're the neighbor.
All right, I'm the neighbor.
You're the neighbor, okay?
All right.
I'm knocking.
Hello.
Hey, good morning. How's your day going today?
Good.
Okay, that's good. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When you clean your driveway and everything, are you aware that you're blowing the stuff into my yard when you're done?
No, I know. I just blow. No,
okay.
I don't know.
Well, if you could do me a favor, it's been becoming a problem, if I'm being honest. It's been getting on my driveway, on my wife's car. There's everywhere.
You sound like your problem. It
Well,
does sound like
it is becoming my problem because
you have problem.
You blow it onto my yard, and then now I have to do extra work because now I have to come out and blow it off my car before it sticks to it.
You have problem.
Okay.
My driveway very clean. We done? We'll done
see.
here, sir?
Yes, we are done.
Good evening.
For now.
I mean, that is how I see it go. And here's one thing
that's
that
a weird Asian accent, by the way.
Oh, that wasn't. He's not Asian. He was not Asian. I don't know what that was.
Eastern European.
Yeah, something like that.
Definitely.
I think the biggest thing, and maybe this is the part I left out. He has come over before, and done the right thing. So I know he's got it in him.
Yeah. But
just not anymore. And it's just
you said sounds like your problem.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just kind of how I feel it will go. But it's eating me alive, and I don't want it to put forth any legal ramifications. But this was not that thing. But people do call. So Sending Show, you're live. What's up?
Hey, look, I'm from New York, and if somebody was doing that and I was watching, I'd go out while he was doing it, and I'd tell him, "Stop it." That's all.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. That's a really good idea.
You might approach the wrong way. This is Florida, dog. This ain't New York.
And here's the thing: it could go fine. It could be nothing. But the unpredictability of man. This is somebody I'm going to have to see every single day. Like in a perfect world, we won't sell this house anytime soon. Even if we moved, I think we'd try to keep this house. Like we want to keep this house forever. These people, I think, have been there forever. So it's easy to go and say something. But without knowing what these people are really like, I'm not trying to make a situation worse in the long term by confronting him over this.
Yeah.
And that leads me right where we are today, which I'm just going to be a bitch boy and keep cleaning up his mess. But what else could you do? I mean, to confront him or just clean up when he's done is pretty much the only two options.
I think you don't say anything. This is going to keep building up, and you're going to snap one day, and it's not going to be pretty. I think John comes home, long day, hanging out, having some drinks in the sun, hanging out, great time, pulls in, grass all over everything, and you're gonna be pissed, and you're gonna see him blowing it. You're gonna get out your car.
We're just gonna lock up right there.
You're gonna snap. You're gonna be like, "What are you effing doing?" And it's gonna get uglier.
Yeah, it's just and you hear about them. These people that have battles with their neighbors for decades, where they just hate each other, and it becomes a tit for tat thing. Where now by me saying that, he's gonna do it. Like I don't know. That could offend him so much that he just starts doing it more. Like he makes it
so?
I don't know. I like I said, I know nothing about this man. And that alone is enough in the year 2025 that I feel like, considering this guy's front door is feet away from my front door, that I'm hesitant to start a confrontation and a potential war with the neighbors.
Want me to mediate this? Want me to be the middleman? I'll go talk to him for you.
No.
Want me to go shrill for you, dog?
That would be, I think somehow that would make it worse. I think. Setting Show, you're live on the air. What's up?
Hey, John. There's a TV show called Neighborhood Wars. You need to watch that because Dizzy's right. You watch the show. It's about people, just capturing on their phone, crazy stuff that's happened. And, it's been on for a couple of years now, but Dizzy's right. Sooner or later, you're going to snap, and you're going to be like one of these people on that TV show. You really need to watch it.
You're giving the credence to Dizzy, but I'm essentially saying the same thing. I know that these wars break out with neighbors and that it just becomes a thing forever where they hate each other and they're always trying to do things to make each other mad and get back at each other. And I just don't feel confident enough that that's not what's going to start if I go over there and say something that for the time being, I'm willing to just be his little grass bitch boy and clean up his trimmings from his yard, I guess.
Well, I've seen some clips where people have flipped it on them and taken the high road, and then they end up becoming really good friends, really good neighbors afterwards.
Maybe.
You never know. You might find a diamond in the rough.
You never know. You never know. By
Next
the way,
time he goes and blows the stuff, you just go out there immediately and start blowing it back, and then he'll get the idea. You see what I'm doing?
I thought you were going to say something completely different. I thought you were going to say, once he starts blowing the stuff, you just blow him.
Jesus.
Setting Show, you're live.
Jesus Christ.
Hey, what's up, boys? It's Eric.
Eric, what up?
Hey, John, how do you expect him to know that you have a problem with it if you don't go over there and just talk to him about it? You don't have to be.
This goes back to my original point. Some things I find it so egregious that, like, the idea of having a conversation doesn't even make sense to me.
Yeah.
First of all, he's cleaned it up in the past, so he knows it's not like a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
Who thinks that you could just blow all of your debris from your yard into your neighbor's yard, into their driveway, and that's something that's okay? Like, who thinks that? That's another part where I'm so hesitant to have the conversation, because I feel like as adults we should all have that general understanding.
But you did talk up when the guy was being weird in the sauna, clipping his stuff and doing all that. So you do speak up when you think people are kind of being crazy, right?
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, you can be nice about it and polite. Say, hey, me and my wife, we don't really like you doing that. Can you blow it somewhere else? That's all it takes. A closed mouth doesn't get fed. He might just keep doing it if he doesn't think you got a problem with it.
Maybe, and we're headed towards some sort of. We're headed towards something. I just don't know what it is.
I'd like to imagine he's on his side being like, he didn't say nothing again. His windows down, I blew it in there into the car. And you're just sitting there taking it, bro.
I am. I'm the neighborhood cuck boy. You got any trimmings? You got anything you need to dispose
Dump
of?
them here.
Just right in my front lawn, baby. Just blow it wherever you want, baby. I'm just your, yeah. This hour's keyword is eat. Head to the 1025 The Bone app now and enter eat before 30 minutes past the top of the hour, and the $1,000 Bone bonus could be yours. It's EAT. If you get a call from a number that you don't recognize within 30 minutes after the top of the hour that the keyword is announced, make sure you answer it. It could be one of our contest judges giving you a call. Again, EAT. Go get that money. Do not go anywhere. We come back. It's becoming one of the best parts of the week. Judge Juicy is in the house. We've got some stories. We've got some questions for JoJo as she joins us next on More Setting Show. Bubble Down Car Wash, the greatest car wash in the whole wide world. They've got long wash tunnels, spacious vacuums, and an amazing staff. And that feeling of a freshly cleaned car, it just can't be beat. It really is like a little makeover for your life. It's kind of like a haircut for your car, only better. And if you get the unlimited membership plan, you can go through as many times as you need to ensure your car stays clean. They've got locations in Tampa, Brandon, Riverview, Wesley Chapel, and Palm Harbor. Get to your local Bubble Down today. Let them know that you heard us talking about them on 1025 The Bone. You will have the cleanest car in town every time you bubble down.
I can live without it. Red light, stop, green light, go. Everything ain't what it seemed like, motherfucker, I know. Hold up, what you mean, where you been? But you've been in, this is merely the beginning again. What you been living in?
You're listening to Setting Show on 102.5 The Bone. The Bone Bonus is back. The Bone is giving you $1,000 5 times a day, every weekday. Just listen for the Bone Bonus keyword at 8, 10, noon, 2, and 5. Head over to the free 102.5 The Bone app and enter the keyword for your chance to win $1,000. It's the Bone Bonus. Presented to you by Farah and Farah, Tampa's accident attorneys. FarahandFarah.com. The Bone Bonus is back. 102.5 The Bone. Real, raw radio.
Jersey College is a nursing school where faculty know how to give you the resources and support you need with encouragement and real connection.
Hi, my name is Ebony, and I'm a graduate of Jersey College. I felt like Jersey College truly cared about me. This experience was a life changer for me. It's a great feeling. You have to try. Don't doubt yourself. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
Classes are enrolling now at our campuses in Tampa, Largo, Brooksville, Naples, and Port Charlotte. Apply now at jerseycollege.edu.
Some big news. Iran is threatening to wipe Israel off the map and destroy America. Now, UN inspectors say Iran is close to getting nuclear weapons, just weeks away. But President Trump vows he won't let them. He's even moved 2 aircraft carriers to the area. This is a big story, and Newsmax's Rob Finnerty is covering it all this week and exposing the real threat. Tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern tonight for Rob's series Stop Iran and find out Trump's secret plan to fix this. Watch Finnerty on Newsmax on all major cable systems. President Trump says he watches Newsmax all the time. You should too. So download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone and sign up for Newsmax Plus to watch us anytime, anywhere. Millions are making the switch to Newsmax because it's real news for real people.
Involved in a car accident? We understand the pressure you're under. Call Farah and Farah. Tampa.
Honor all heroes at Palm Harbor Hero Fest on May 17th. This incredible community event celebrates our local heroes, first responders, veterans, and everyday champions making a difference. Enjoy live music, food trucks, kids' activities, a vendor marketplace, and more. Admission is free and fun for all ages.
Injured? Take back control of your life. Call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE.
Are you ready to elevate your social game? This is John Senning here for Cava Social Club in downtown Bradenton, your go-to spot for fun and relaxation 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is not just any hangout. It's a community social club with incredible weekly events on Wednesday, karaoke night, where you can unleash that inner rock star. On Thursday, test your knowledge with trivia night, great questions, great prizes, and even better company. You need some relaxation? Well, treat yourself on any one of their many massage nights and let your stress just melt away. Showcase your talents at open mic night or strategize with fellow enthusiasts with the ever popular Sunday Chess Club. The night market is a must visit with local vendors, delicious food, and handcrafted goodies that are sure to make it a night to remember. Dive into the amazing events going on at Cava Social Club today and visit them online at thecavasocialclub.com and on social media at Cava Social Club. Cava Social Club, where your vibe attracts your tribe. Boola, baby!
Are you ready for the ultimate entertainment experience? It's all here, only with Spectrum TV Select. Popular apps are included: Disney Plus, Max, Peacock Premium, Paramount Plus, AMC Plus, and more. And live TV for sports, entertainment, and news. Enjoy across your devices no matter when or where you are. Get Spectrum TV Select and start streaming your favorites today. It's all here. Visit spectrum.com/entertainment. Restrictions apply.
Let me tell you one of the reasons I think we became the largest injury firm in the world, and it's not even close. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My wife and I had a plan early on. In our firm, our lawyers only work on certain types of cases. Our products liability and dangerous drug lawyers only work on those cases. Same for car crashes, workers' compensation, medical malpractice, and insurance disputes. Our thinking is for these lawyers to focus on one area of the law and live it and breathe it. Power comes from knowledge. Many lawyers do everything, jack of all trades. Not us. and we don't charge an hourly rate. You only pay us if we win. If you want to hire us, it's easy. Dial Pound Law on your cell phone, pound 529, or visit forthepeople.com on your phone or computer from the comfort of your own home. Let us get to work for you. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com. Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Getting a new fence doesn't need to be a hassle. The pros at Fence Outlet will help you with everything from start to finish, including measurements, ordering materials, dealing with local ordinances, and complete installation. Consult with a knowledgeable Fence Outlet representative and they'll help you get started today. Go to fenceoutlet.com.
License number C10252 and C10803. 1025 The Bone. Wheel Raw Radio. WHPT, Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete. And 107.3 WXGL HD2 St. Pete. Live from the WeatherTight Windows studio. And now, back to Senning Show. With your host, John Senning.
As long as you love me. All the loneliness has always been a friend of mine.
Oddly enough, this Backstreet Boys phase that I went through when this album just came out was right there with my Mace. Like that these were the two things I was bumping all the time was Mace, Harlem World, and whatever this album was from the Backstreet Boys.
So was
So
Backstreet
good.
Boys over NSYNC for you?
Was this Millennium?
Yes. I don't know that I would say that as a fact as a whole, but definitely at this point in my life I was Team Backstreet.
Okay.
Oof. I'm John Senning. He's Dizzy, and every Tuesday at 2 o'clock, we are joined by the Queen of the Bone. She's beloved. She's respected. She's the mother of the building, if I may say so myself. The juice is loose.
Juice. The juice is loose. It's JoJo.
Judge Juicy will rule. I have to say, it's a very, very nice touch. Judge Juicy has a gavel in hand today.
Order in the court.
Order is in the court. A couple things that aren't necessarily Judge Juicy related that I want to touch on before we dig into some dirty stuff.
Touch me, baby.
So you were, right before we came on, you were talking about a Facebook page or something that I've heard about before.
Oh.
That's called Are We Dating the Same Guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Were you looking at that to find out if you're dating the same guy as somebody else, or was just
no, I'm
this
not dating anybody. But it happened to come up while I was on there, and this girl was thanking. She said, "Thank you to the girl who posted Justin 32 Clearwater. I was the girlfriend."
Oh wow!
So
that's what it is.
Someone down with Justin.
Is it ever the other way around? Are there separate websites for?
I don't know
if it's the guy.
I don't know.
Or do they do that there as well? Are we dating the same girl?
I don't know.
Sure
I'm
they
not.
have it.
Yeah, I'm
or
not.
Is it just because men are such scum that it's so much
Probably
more prevalent
that.
they can keep a whole
yeah.
platform available?
You ever post anyone on there?
No, but I just opened this one. It says Eric H. Run, ladies.
Oh man! Oh dude, that guy! I would have been running before I knew anything about him.
Did you know that we had someone on here that no longer works here that got caught on there?
No, I know of somebody else who is connected to the radio station that got busted on there. I don't want to out him because I don't know if we ever talked about it on the radio or on the show, but yeah. Handsome man, known as a lover of women about town.
Okay.
May or may not have been on a date with JoJo before in the past, I think.
Oh, Sean Daly.
I don't know. You said it.
Oh.
Who was it that used to work here?
I can't remember his name, but he was in sales.
Oh, I know who you're talking
You know
about.
exactly what I'm talking
I
about.
know who you're talking about. Big T-Dog.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I knew that guy was a poon hound from a mile away. Dude, he just oozed sexual energy. He got me a little hot and bothered when
But
I was around
married.
him. Yeah, it seems that way from what I understand.
I mean,
Yeah, no, you can't do that.
You can't do that.
It's bad. So we don't have to do this every week, but I do feel like we need to maybe put a bow on it, or at least
Sure.
Is the JoJo Dizzy's cousin thing? Is that just, are we just floating along? Is it fully fizzled? Did we get a peak back up?
no, I think we're just.
You didn't see each other yet.
No.
Yeah. Okay. Seems like the flame is gone. I hate to
It's
say
fine.
it, but
Do we think he just lost his phone again? No, he was snapping, wasn't he?
Yeah. But she messaged. He answered.
Okay.
So it's
just a casual, which is what I thought it was going to.
Initially, if it wasn't for the appearance here on the show and everybody's blood got rushing and stuff, and it seemed like he was.
So then I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
We should get a follow up from him.
He did that. He did that.
Thank you. Yeah, I was fine with it just being like this, and then if he was like, "Hey, it's Friday night and I'm bored,"
you played it cool.
I'll be like, "Okay, yeah, that's fine."
You played it how I expected him to play it, and like John said, like we got him on the phone, and it was like, what are we finding out?
I don't know. Maybe it freaked him out just how much he liked me.
Maybe that's always.
No, I do know that he has a lot of stuff going on, and no.
What?
Huh?
Yeah, you did make a noise.
I
You made
did?
the noise I wanted to make.
Yeah.
I mean, that something about that feels wrong. Like
I
having to say that. Like I feel like you got to get that part out of you and
Which
not make
I don't care
excuses
because
for the
I
guy.
do too. It's not as easy.
Exactly. Everyone, we're all adults. Yes.
Yes.
You're right. You are right.
My thing is the communication. Don't say what you said and then do a complete 180 and then.
Can I ask something? Can we circle the block on someone else though?
Dougie Fresh?
Dougie Fresh?
Oh, is he back in the orbit?
We talk. We're friends.
You still talk?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you said the F word just now, so.
We're friends.
Friends.
Yeah. Well, if I heard that, I go.
Friends with.
I don't know. No, I don't. I tried that. It didn't work, and we're
Was
just on
he-
different wavelengths right now.
Did you ever get any
I think,
any
from my-
talking to or any discussion about the public nature of what happened with Dizzy's cousin?
Did I get a
no,
talking to?
I just know that in the hours after, JP said that he didn't really like the idea of it, so I didn't know if he himself felt the same way and was like, hey, I didn't really like that.
Oh no one said anything to me.
Good.
Nor should they.
No, nor should they at all.
Right.
Hey, we're just trying to put a bow on this thing.
Yeah,
Bow it up. We done.
We're absolutely putting a bow on it.
Okay.
All right. Some a little raunchier than others today, but a few different.
Right up my alley.
A few different offerings for Judge Juicy.
Okay.
Dear Judge Juicy, I have a 3.5-inch penis.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, boy.
It's 1.5 inches when it's soft.
Oh, no, this is a lie.
I've read how women don't care about size as much
They
as men
do.
think, but this has not been my experience. I have had repeated women tell me they can't date me because it's just too small. One woman even laughed and said, "That's it?" when I pulled down my pants.
Got a murderer.
Another woman asked, "Is it in?" when it definitely was.
Oh, no.
I feel like I should just give up on dating and having sex with women. My self-esteem is crushed, and no woman will date me because of my small penis. Signed, Poorly Endowed.
Is that what it's really signed?
Yes. What do you do? What do you?
Well, listen, I think you could have. I think you could have come to me off air, and we could have had this conversation. You didn't need to do it all right here. But
You know what? You've seen the mold before. You've held it in your hands.
it was a pretty impressive mold.
Yeah, I'm just saying. But I mean, honestly, there
Poor
is
white boy.
something. You laughed. Yeah, I know. You probably forget what those are like, huh?
You still remember?
Yeah.
Vaguely.
But no, I know that you've already shamed this man with your comments already. But what would you say to a man like this man, Poorly Endowed? Is it
Listen,
over for him?
I'm sure that is rough. That has to be. I'm impressed that he would even want to get naked in front of somebody.
But what do you do?
I mean, 3.5 inches is not.
And I will three.
That's like a pacifier. I
was
mean, that
3.5
is not big.
That was 3.5 while ready.
Yes.
Yeah, a pacifier.
That's like.
So there's no hope for this guy. I mean,
Well, I don't know. I would talk to a doctor and see if he can get a penis enlargement. I would see if there's some kind of pump that he could do to like
those work?
help it out. I don't know if Viagra would like make
No,
it.
that's just going to make you at your best.
So what if I'm deciphering what the judge is saying, there's not tons of hope for him.
No.
Like there's not. So what
if they can't even feel it?
He should give up then.
He needs to put a strap on himself.
Dude, I've seen those things
okay,
where,
or that.
Yeah, they do have like extenders.
What would how would
do they really?
Yeah.
How would you feel if yours was? By the way, 1.5 inches flaccid.
Yes, that's not. I mean, I understand. It's not the best case scenario.
If I had how small was it again? Like 3 inches?
Three and a half while prepared.
I would put everything I can into just being a successful businessman. So at least I had money around
Or
me.
maybe you work on your mouth techniques.
I was hoping you were going to get to that because you start with that. If you can start with that and get them so spun out from that, it's really going to take the edge off by the time you pull out the 3-incher. Like it's still going to be sad, but at least she's feel like she didn't show up for nothing.
Lick him and then scissor.
Yeah. I would just not expect anything in return.
Yeah. Well, at this point, I think this guy is
like, you just have to be a giver.
He's looking for love.
Yeah.
I mean, can you? So I'm going to ask you
And he'll
directly,
just have
Judge
to take.
Juicy.
Okay.
As somebody who I feel like is looking for love in some way, could you love a man with a 3.5-inch wiener? Could you love a man?
You mean like an 1.5-inch wiener?
Right.
Yeah.
What?
No.
So that's it. So that is just a deal breaker.
But we could be friends.
Well, yeah, you ain't gonna be friends with benefits.
No.
Ain't no benefit.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't know why. I thought you were gonna have a different. You're a size queen.
No, I'm a pleasure queen. I want to feel pleasure. Most women do. So unless you're gonna do something,
So what's the sweet spot? Like, what would you say is an average for someone that should be with you?
Must be.
I mean, I've
must
never
be
measured.
Must be how long to ride.
Yeah, give me with your hands.
I don't know. I'm not.
She's a size queen.
Yes, I mean definitely but also that is, and curvature that makes a difference for me.
By the way,
There's a lot of factors that go into this.
The average
Okay.
American male
I should have a ruler.
when at full attention
Okay.
is 5.17 inches.
No,
Okay.
that's not 5.
That's not.
That's
5.
like 9.
That's not 5.
No, that's not 9.
Flaccid is about 3.6.
5
Really?
is like this, JoJo.
No, that's not. That's
Yeah.
like 3.
No.
That's fully erect.
You're looking through the eyes of a size queen.
I'm thinking of a ruler. The inch it like.
So give
I
us
don't have
your
a ruler in-
perspective. How big is 5?
What's yours look like?
5. I would say. So if we're looking like that's a half of a ruler, that's probably about 5.
Right. That's what I just said.
Yeah, that's probably about 5.
Let me see.
Let me give you one of these. Something like that.
That's what I had up.
No, you did
I
not.
think my small fingers look different. That's the only reason.
So
it's like 5 of your pointer finger.
Okay.
So please make a final ruling, Judge Juicy.
So poorly endowed, my advice would be to work on your, I don't know if I can say the C word, but cunningly. I would work on that. I would not expect anything in return. And I would, I would have to agree with Dizzy. I would just make sure that your pockets are very, very deep.
Yeah.
I would. There's a joke to be made there. I would hope that your pockets are deep and that the woman's
not
is shallow. Dear Judge Juicy, this one's actually a good one because I like the idea of people sending along like relationship. I love the raunchy stuff, but I like the in-depth relationship stuff too.
Okay.
You can send them along on social media. John sending at theboneonline.com. We've been getting some good ones. Dear Judge Juicy, my husband and I have been married 33 years.
Wow.
But the last 10 years have been extremely difficult. His attitude and selfishness during that time have led me to strongly resent him. He's now telling me he's changed and things will be different, that I'm important to him and he will consider my thoughts, feelings, and wants going forward. The problem is he didn't decide this until I finally had enough and moved out. How do I decide what is best for me? I love him, and at his core, he is a good person, but sometimes I feel like there's just too much water under the bridge. Signed, just not sure.
33 years is a long time.
That is a long time to be married.
But you've also been very unhappy for 10 of them.
And isn't that a thing they say too, that by the time people break up, they've spent half of the time that they were in the relationship slowly breaking up?
Which is crazy to say.
So that could mean, but she said the last 10 years.
So again, more context as far as, were in the 10 years, were you going to therapy? Were you trying to fix things? Were you communicating with what you were lacking and missing in your relationship? Or was it just like, the last year of it, you were kind of like, okay, well, this isn't working for me. You're not giving me what I need.
Well, and the thing is from what I've realized,
Are there
from
children
being married,
involved?
I don't know that it doesn't say anything about children, but
Yeah.
from what I found and what I'm getting the tone of here, not saying that this all has to do with housework or things like that, but a lot of times women want you to do the things they want you to do without having to be told to do them, and that's what this person is experiencing. She's finally laid down the ultimate ultimatum by moving out, and then that's the point where this guy is willing to change. And it seems for some, by the time they're willing to make a move, they've already made the decision that it's going to be over.
Yeah.
So I think depending on how vocal this person has been over the last 10 years of misery,
yeah, is it stuff like that? Is it, they're not physically intimate? Has that dissipated? Does she think that he was finding it somewhere else? Because that tends to affect
his attitude and selfishness. So, I mean, you can pretty much apply that everywhere. Maybe he's a selfish lover. Maybe he doesn't clean up after himself. Maybe he's got a bad attitude. He's a dick. He's all of those things. I mean, 33 years of that.
I got to think that it was approached. The conversation of it was brought to his attention and he didn't. And I don't know if there was a therapy involved. I think that I would say stay moved out. And I would say to have him commit to going to therapy and making sure that he is sincere and wanting to correct and move forward and make the adjustments. But I also think that adjustments need to be made on her part as well. We can't go in with certain expectations. I do this a lot where I think people should clean like me, you know what I mean? And I can't.
I've been at the receiving end of that.
Yes, yes.
It's like, I didn't even know there was a dome in the microwave that you put down over top of your food. So when I'm shamed for not using it, it's like, well, maybe if I knew that was there, maybe if I could only live up to the standards of Queen JoJo,
I know.
The size queen.
we can all be happy.
But that would be my ruling would be if you do in your heart of hearts love him, and it wasn't like any sort of abuse or anything like that, because that is who somebody is. I would say that there is capability of change, and if that's what you want, I would stay moved out. I would go to therapy. I would give it some time to have him prove himself that and then make the necessary adjustments on both sides.
That was kind of my question. That is an official ruling. I don't want to cut off your official ruling, but I guess it depends on what the guy was actually doing. Because I think you're right, and sticking to your guns at that point is probably a good thing. But then for everybody, it's got to be different. Like, what do you need to see from this guy for you to think that he's actually changed enough? Because at that point, he's going to probably tell you whatever the hell he wants to tell you just to get you back.
Because maybe you're doing all the laundry and the cooking and the cleaning and the whatever. Now he's by himself and he doesn't, can't fend for himself. So, just come back, baby. I'm so sorry. I love you so much.
Are you somebody?
What accent was that?
Are you somebody that
Desperate white man
that could get? These people are black. These that could see yourself resenting a man over household duties, because you have that very much like maternal thing to you with everybody, where you like to kind of care for people and you take care of a lot of things. Like, is that something, not saying that you want to be like a straight up trad wife that cleans the house and does everything, but could you see that being part of an issue in a relationship?
I would even add on to that and say, I feel like JoJo's the type to be like, you're going to do it too slow or not the way I need it to be done. So you won't even you won't let them clean, but it's going to almost create more work for you if someone does
I
stuff.
will say that I have come a long way having a child because I'm trying to teach her to do things on her own. I find
clean the toilet without a brush.
Correct. Men are very similar to children and teaching them things and explaining to them. So I have to be very patient with her because I want her to clean up her own toys. Does she put them back the way that I would put them back in the spot that I would put them back? And no, but I let her do them, and then I might go and tidy them up a little bit more. But like I said, I don't expect people. I've learned. I'll make comments and joke around about it, and hope that you pick up on some things, and try to make a little bit of an effort. But no, I don't expect people to be the way that I am.
But also,
when it comes to that sort of stuff.
But also, there's probably a different standard for around the office and other people in your life to a person that you potentially love and are living with and are building a relationship with.
I mean, I feel like I'm too old now. Like, I feel like I'm so set in my ways. If I met somebody, they would be set in their ways. It would be an adjustment. Listen, I'm not opposed to that whole like living separately but being together type of a thing.
Oh wow.
Sounds really nice. But I also don't I'm a clean person. And to me, that says a lot about who you are as a person. And so if you literally can't put your dish from the counter into the dishwasher, yes, that is a problem.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's what I've heard too.
If you can't put your clothes in a hamper, you have to drop them right in front.
Dude, that's my cardinal sin right there.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, and the thing is that I went on this whole thing about the hamper not being big enough because it was like a little hamper.
Yeah.
Well, my first request, because this is a thing. Like this is what we talk
by
about.
the way,
in my house.
request, get a bigger hamper for yourself.
Right. Okay. That's good. My first request was I wanted one of those. I wanted the basketball hoop hampers on the back of the door.
Make it fun for me.
Yeah. So like when I go to throw it away, I can just shoot some hoops.
I'm fine with that.
Did not get that, but we did get a very large hamper, and it upped my numbers significantly because we used to have this little skinny hamper that was hidden behind the door, and now we got this giant hamper right in the corner where I can throw my clothes in there from anywhere in the room, and it really worked. But that is something that I need to work on as a person.
Your problem kind of like mine at times where it's like, all right, we're going to go. I got to change my shirt. I'm going to come back and put that shirt on. So I'll put it down.
Oh.
Put on a shirt, go out, put that shirt away, then put on a new shirt and forget about the other ones.
Yes,
Yes, okay.
I have many different issues in the laundry department. One, not making it into the basket, and secondly, sometimes I'll feel like a piece of clothing shouldn't be considered fully dirty.
Thank you.
But I don't want to put it back like.
I mean, could you imagine?
That's a great
exactly.
analogy there.
I can't live in quarters like that.
I love it. By the way, did you see they did a new Dateline on the murder of the Brian Kohlberger guy?
I saw that they did. I didn't.
Dude, I've only seen pieces of it, but that is turning out to be way more. And it's Keith. It's Keith Morrison.
Of course it is.
He's the GOAT.
I just rewatched when Bill Hader, they did a Sunday Morning with Willie Geist or whatever, and it was with Bill Hader. They were at the Dateline studio thing.
Yes, that was so cool.
Oh my God, it was one of the best things I've ever seen.
That was so cool.
Bill Hader's doing Keith Morrison, and Keith is just standing there. I mean, it was really cool.
Keith is, out of all of the people in my life that I would love to meet one day that I look up to, Keith Morrison is the GOAT.
The man. He's
Love
the
that
man.
guy.
Yeah.
This one's quick and it's to the point, but I feel like a lot of people have had experience with it in the past, and it's a very sensitive subject. Dear Judge Juicy.
Yes.
How do you tell a coworker that they smell? Someone I work with every single day smells so bad that it literally makes me gag. How do I tell them this without making them feel bad? And I mean, this really, not only are you Judge Juicy, but you, are in a position in an office where somebody could legitimately come to you with this one day. So how do you handle it if somebody smells?
So I don't know the relationship that they have with the person.
Let's just say not much. Just a coworker that they're around.
I would see if there is a superior, an HR person, and let them know and let them handle it, because they'll probably have some sort of verbiage that they can use to where it's not an offensive thing, but also hygienically you have to make sure for the sake of other people.
Is it interesting and weird to think, does how you handle it change based on what the smell is?
Yes.
Because some smells are not traditional.
No, they cut through.
Yeah, it's
I've been there.
And it's not BO. Like BO, easy fix. You start digging a little deeper, maybe into the realm of some halitosis. Maybe you've got someone who's extremely large and it's like a fold issue. Where they got some cheese buildup. Then it becomes a deeper, harder conversation.
I wouldn't use that word, but I would just say,
So please, somebody has brought it to your attention that somebody in the office smells, and you've taken it upon yourself to call them, and you send them an email. You say, "Hey, swing by my office," and then they get there, and you say,
"John, it has been brought to my attention." Well, you're in front of me. Okay. And I wanted to have a conversation, and I'm here to help you however we can work this out, because I want everybody to be comfortable.
Thank you.
And feel like it's a safe space.
Am I in trouble?
Absolutely not. Okay. But it's been brought to my attention, and I don't know if there's stuff going on at home or whatever. We need to make sure that you're showering before you come to work, cleaning your crevasses, brushing your teeth, maintaining proper hygiene.
You would say that. You would say that.
Yeah.
You would say
I don't
that.
think you would say
I don't
that.
think you would either.
To the people here, yeah. Actually, I'd be like, John, baby, we need to get it together. I would call your wife and be like, Danielle, how do you not smell this funk?
Yeah.
You let that get on top of you?
Yeah. With only 3 inches?
Girl.
Yeah. That's
No, but I would try to, I mean, listen, I would want somebody to tell me, but see, I don't know how you don't smell it. Like the second that I'm
You go
outside,
nose-blind.
no,
You really do. Some
Yeah.
people, like I know people that are good people that I would consider myself friends with, that the entire time I've known them, there's just like an aroma. And
I think you've told me one time when I smelled, but I had been like outside and I knew that I smelled.
I don't think I told you smelled.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember you smelling personally.
thank
but
you.
Either way.
But yeah, I would want somebody to tell me. So, I mean, just with anything. So if you've got a boogie hanging, if you got food in your teeth, if you, whatever,
That's
like
easier,
I'm going to tell you, but I'm still going to try to bring it to your attention. And then
Yeah.
I don't know if you need to go see a doctor. I don't know if it's what your diet is. I don't know.
Telling someone they stink is like, John and me are cool and stuff.
I know.
But I don't think I would be able to be like, you stink, dog.
You wouldn't tell him?
I would, like, if we were out somewhere, I might be like, you step in something, and that would be the way I'd tell him.
Okay.
But I
think I would have to tell the person that I work with every day.
Well, I'm just saying, it's
Like if
like
it was
a moment.
if I
where
could
you
smell
stink.
it from here,
Yeah.
I mean, we'd have to. I probably would have made it 2 weeks and go and let's give this guy the benefit of the doubt that something's going on. But at that point, I'm also very nose sensitive, so I wouldn't be able to focus on life if you smelled.
I don't think you would say anything.
Yeah, I would.
You're getting cucked right now in your neighborhood.
That
and
is
you're
true.
gonna go-
I did want to ask you that before. But the thing is, I also know you well enough to know
There's a
that
difference.
we could get through it.
Yeah.
I don't know this guy.
It's
Did
yeah,
you?
not a stranger.
If
Okay.
we could get one final ruling before we wrap up with Judge Juicy, did you hear me? Did you hear me tell the story of what's going on with my?
I heard a part of it. I didn't hear all of it.
So
But
long story, the longest version, short, what either way. This guy, when
Your
he mows his
neighbor.
lawn,
Mhm.
is blowing all of his grass into my freshly cleaned driveway every single time.
Okay.
And I have not said anything yet.
And what do you do when that happens?
What do you mean?
Do you just clean it up?
I often just clean it up. I often just go get my blower when he's done, and then I just blow the stuff out of my driveway. But my whole
Do you blow it back
reasoning-
into his yard?
No, not really.
Have you knocked on his door and asked him not to do it?
No.
Okay.
And my whole thing is, this person lives right next door to me.
Yes.
And maybe it's just the paranoid mind that I have, but you hear these stories of people who start up wars with their neighbors,
Yes.
and then their lives are just ruined. That guy takes it personally,
Yes.
and he now blows everything into my yard, and it is his goal in life. And I don't know if
Or
that's
he
going to
slashes
happen.
your tires or he
Yes,
stabs
but
you.
I just feel like when you enter into what could be a combative situation with a neighbor, it could have much longer reaching ramifications than just that moment. That's why I've not done anything or said anything yet. And I also have no rapport with this guy. I don't know anything about him. So, what do you do, Judge Juicy? What do you do?
Well, I'm happy to go over and speak with him if you would like me to.
That might actually work.
You've never talked to him at all?
We've talked. We have talked, and early on.
Are they
I
older?
Thought, no.
Okay.
No.
Do you see them ever outside? Like,
Kind
do they
of.
drink or do they party or?
Yeah, a little bit. But we've had a couple. That's the interesting thing. This
Like
guy
if you brought
was,
him a 6-pack and you were like, "Hey,
that
bro,"
could be. With a gift.
yeah, like I would go with something if
Dude,
you
that's
know,
a great. That
and
is
just
a
be
great.
like, "I'm sure you didn't even realize you did it, but do you
Well, that would
mind?"
be a
'Cause
lie. I would be lying if I said that because he does realize he did it because he has
Came and
cleaned
checked.
it up in the past, and
Oh.
I've seen him come over and look at it.
That's
and
not
walk
the
away.
point.
Okay, so I'm lying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I lied.
For the sake of not pissing off your neighbor and having him come over and.
So this guy's been blowing grass for how much ever, and we're like, let's bring him some beers.
I mean, that's the best idea I've heard, though, because it at least qualms my biggest fear that I'm going to be starting a lifelong neighbor war where this
Right.
guy, because people just snap. They don't like being told, and I don't
Correct.
know. So it's
But
one of
also,
those things.
you don't want to ruin it. Listen, you down the road, you want to have people at your house and
Yes.
you're up late.
Yes.
You don't want your neighbor to be calling the cops and
Exactly.
taking, having a problem with you. So yes, I think going over in a calm,
With a gift.
yes, friendly-ish manner, just to be like, hey, whatever his name is, if you know it,
I don't even know his name.
bruh.
What up, brah?
Uh-huh.
Hugo.
Yeah, that is actually it.
I wanted you to try these, and then you'd be like, "Oh yeah." And by the way,
Oh,
I'm sure you
and
didn't
by
even
the
realize
way.
the other day.
Try these Bud Lights.
No,
by
no,
the
no,
way.
no. But you're like, "Oh my god, I saw these and thought you guys might like them because I don't know." And if you could just stop blowing your grass all over my wife's car and in my yard and stuff, making more work for me, that'd be so awesome.
Can I get one more gavel?
With you, take a gift. Try and solve it with words before you solve it with fisticuffs. Okay. Court is adjourned.
Juicy has ruled. We love you, Joj.
Love you, boys.
Thank you. We'll do it again next week at 2 o'clock. If you got any questions, hit up Dizzy on social media at Dizzy for Mayor. You can email me, John Sending at the Bone, online.com. When we come back, I missed it yesterday in the joints. It really feels like the animals are rising up because every day in a different part of the country, a different type of animal kills somebody. This one, I'll give you this. There was a character in Winnie the Pooh.
Okay.
That killed a man. And we'll tell you what it is next as we make way for John's Joints coming up at 3 o'clock. But first, let's just jam out to a little NSYNC. There has never been a better time than now to go solar with Solar Bear. The average Solar Bear customer is saving over $2,000 per year by switching to solar with storm season quickly approaching. I know we all hate to hear it, but it's a reality. Make sure you're prepared this time around, and what better way than making sure you don't lose power in the event of another storm. A lot of people are considering generators for the next storm, but there are a handful of scenarios that make that not such a great option. A lot of people down by the beach lost their natural gas. Other people were running off propane and gas. They found themselves waiting in lines all day. You go solar with Solar Bear. You get that backup power to get you through those first few hours, and the sun always comes out pretty soon thereafter. You're killing two birds with one stone because you're also going to eliminate your power bill. That is right. Sign up now. Your first 12 months are completely free. Yes, make no payments for 12 months. Give them a call today for a free estimate or check them out at solarbear.com.
You're listening to Setting Show on 102.5 The Bone. Tell us what you think. Head to the 102.5 The Bone app now and leave us an open mic. The Open Mic on the free 102.5 The Bone app is sponsored by 1-800-ASK-GARY.
Fence Outlet customer Sarah shares.
We decided to go with Fence Outlet after receiving several referrals from our neighbors. They've been in business for over 30 years, so we trusted that they would do a great job, and they did.
Go to fenceoutlet.com to book your free estimate. License number C10252 and C10803.
John Senning here. I'm obviously not an attorney, but Mo DeWitt is. And you probably already know that if you're injured on the go, just call Mo. Mo and his firm fights for the injured people in Tampa Bay to get them what they deserve. Fighting the insurance companies can seem overwhelming, but that's what Mo does every day. And he's ready to do it for you. No matter what life throws at you, stand up and fight to get what you deserve. And it all starts with one call to Tampa's injury attorney at 866-CALL-MO. Give him a call day or night at 866-CALL-MO. That's 866-CALL-MOE.
It's the perfect day. You're just driving along, listening to your favorite music, the windows down. There's a cool breeze. Life is good. But wait, hold on a second. You're not wearing a seatbelt? You'd better put that on before that... Uh-oh, too late. Cops everywhere are stepping up enforcement, so you'd better buckle up or you will get caught. Sorry to ruin your day. Click it or ticket.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
Babe, I don't know how to tell you this, but it's time to break up. With our power company, they keep raising rates while you keep footing the bill. At Solar Bear, we say enough is enough. Go solar today and get your first 12 months completely free. With over 10 years in business and thousands of 5-star reviews, we're Florida's trusted solar provider. Locally owned, proven, and affordable. Make the switch. Call Solar Bear now and visit solarbear.com. That's solarbear.com.
I'm honored by the number of referrals that Bernetti PA gets from others in our legal profession. We have represented clients referred to us by other law firms and even represented judges. They've called us. Why shouldn't you? Call 1-800-BERNETTI. We're ready. Offices Tampa, Lakeland, Pinellas.
Market volatility isn't slowing down. If you're nearing retirement, now is not the time to wait and see. Every day of uncertainty can put your future at risk. It's time to diversify. I'm Jeff Jr. with Trajan Wealth, and I want you to know you can create certainty, locking in guaranteed income for life. This means predictable, stable cash flow, even in turbulent times. You've worked too hard to leave your retirement to chance. Right now, there are options to receive up to 30% upfront or annual growth of up to 10% for retirement income. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't wait. Call Trajan today at 813-550-1000. That's 813-550-1000.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any examples provided are hypothetical. Annuities are issued with prospectus and sales brochures and should be reviewed carefully before funding as features and benefits vary. DBA in most states as Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions.
Hey guys, it's a cat named Mo, and for the past 10 years, I've been talking about the Centers for Men's Health, better known as C4MH.com, which has been the leader in low T care for the past 15 years. C4MH.com leads because it's a local medical practice, not one of those slick national franchise T clinics that pop up overnight. C4MH leads because it has no financial contracts, no upfront treatment payments, and no added cost treatments. C4MH leads because we fully disclose, and I say we because, again, I've been with them for 10 years, the affordable pricing. There are no hidden surprise costs. The slick pop-up clinics pricing is nowhere to be found, and then come the contracts and high-pressure upselling. C4MH leads because 18 West Coast Florida locations only treat you with pharmaceutical testosterone and never the cut rate compounded stuff the other clinics use. So when you want affordable, safe, convenient, low T care, go to C4MH.com.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
How did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you. All of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Malcolm is a listening learner, so he checks with Babbel's speech recognition to be
Precio.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Time marches on, and a lot has changed. But one thing has not changed. Washington regulations on local stations. Regulations that make it tough for local TV and radio stations to compete with global big tech platforms. If you want to keep local news, weather, and live sports on TV and radio, we need updated regulations. Tell Washington to modernize the rules to help local stations compete. Learn more at nab.org/modernize the rules. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text ENERGY to 321-321 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text ENERGY to 321-321. That's ENERGY to 321-321.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
Saturday, May 17th is Furman Chevy of Brandon's Military Appreciation Event. Don't miss this star-spangled day of live music, free barbecue, giveaways, and exclusive military offers. Together, let's drive and honor our heroes. Get all the details at FurmanChevy.com.
When it really matters, choose Farrah & Farrah. Here for you, here for good. Tampa.
Now, back to Real Raw Radio. Sponsored by Anajar and Levine, Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
And now, back to Senning Show. With your host, John Senning.
Welcome back to Senning Show. I'm John Senning. He's dizzy.
Baby, all I got is this.
If somebody put a gun to your head and said, what is your favorite country song of all time, what would it be?
Ooh, Jackson Dean. I can't remember the name.
I knew you were going to say that, but is that the only country song you've ever heard?
No, I've heard Hootie.
Well, it's interesting because I thought maybe that's what you were going to say, but that's also like a newer song.
Yes, Jackson Dean.
Do you have a second one? Do you have a second favorite country song?
So the first one's "Don't Come Looking," Jackson Dean. The second one is Jackson Dean. Off the top of my head, no, that's the only country songs I've heard.
This is it. This is your guy.
My boy.
And what do you went to school with this guy?
No, I think I heard it in Tulsa King. I was like, or some
Tulsa
movie
King. Dude,
or show, and I was like, what is this?
Look at Taylor Sheridan.
Yeah.
Full of noise. About 100 different things.
I like this.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that since you like this, you don't like more of that new kind of gritty country.
I think that's what I like about it. Exactly that. The gritty. He sounds like a 50-year-old man. He's not. He's 20-something.
Looking for a brand new way to get lost.
All right. It's also very, very country.
Yeah, it is.
Don't come looking.
Oh, you even know the world? Look at that.
Now listen to some Jackson Dean, dog.
I guess so.
I'm on the Dean's list. That's We Jackson Dean.
Is that what you guys? Is that what you guys call it?
Yeah.
I wanted to turn you on to something else. Oh yeah, this one right here. This barely constitutes his country, but this guy's a trip. Paul Coffin. This song is called Home Team. This seems like something you might be able to get down
Sounds like
with.
an R&B pop.
Yeah, it does. It does. But the guy's like he's a real outlaw. I can see you out on the dance floor. Not very country, but I'm just trying to indoctrinate you anywhere I can.
You better roll up. About to break off in the scene.
I like the voice.
Roll up. A Cadillac, a limousine with the shoulder shrug. If you know what I mean. Look 'em in the face while we honk with a lean.
I want my country artists to sound like they drive a big pickup. They always have some chew in their mouth. And could probably play the banjo, too, if they wanted.
You've been holding for quite some time. Welcome to the program.
It's your favorite Marine in the whole world. And JoJo left, but I wanted to tell her happy belated Mother's Day.
Oh, that's very
sweet. She sounds like a wonder. The greatest country song is "The Cowboy Rides Away" by George Strait.
I love some George.
Yeah.
George and Strait, baby. To do the wiener measurement thing, do a thumbs up and add 1.5 inches from the base of your palm and add 1.5 inches to the tip of your thumb.
What? You heard it here first, folks. 32 minutes. 32-minute build-up on that. So I've been holding on to it. I meant to get to it in the joints yesterday, but it feels like it happens this way. We've had the bear encounter here in Florida, the first ever where somebody was taken out. We had the alligator eat somebody. We had the guy that was bored, the Florida guy that was, I say bored, he was gored by a bison. And now the newest animal death in the United States of America. I believe this is in South Carolina. A man killed by his own kangaroo.
His own kangaroo.
I have the news story from the local news affiliate there in Horry County.
Tell us more, Eric.
Eric, Robert Slate says that his older brother Eric loved the animals, especially Jack, the red kangaroo, who had been on the property for just 2 weeks. And as the Slate family continues to wait on that autopsy report, Robert says that his brother, he actually had found his brother, and his brother appeared to be at peace.
If there was a trauma or if there was Jack, I feel like there would have been more signs.
Robert Slate, owner of Five Star Farm in Loris, is speaking out after his brother, 52-year-old Eric Slate, was found dead inside of a kangaroos and wallabies enclosure Friday night.
The face wouldn't have been a smile. The clothes wouldn't have been intact. I mean, there's
Dude, this guy's simping for the kangaroo that killed his brother.
But at the same point, just like the expert said, how was the situation and what was involved in the situation?
Robert says he found his brother shortly before 11 Friday night after Eric had been on the farm feeding the animals for a couple of hours.
On Friday, my brother had not left the property other than for an hour to go to get a pair of shoes. He actually got 2 pair of shoes.
Horry County Police say when officers arrived, Eric had signs of trauma on his body, and the animals in the enclosure were placed in a different location while the investigation was launched. So far, there is no indication of what led to Eric's death. That could be determined when the autopsy is completed.
He's pretty chill, laid back. I mean, especially for a male kangaroo.
Spring Simmons, a longtime employee of 5 Star, says that she never...
Dude, I don't know if we just pay more attention to animals now, and with the internet, there's just so many pictures out there. But the rise of the jacked ass kangaroo.
Oh yeah.
Like when you see these pictures of these kangaroo
squaring up,
dude, they look like they've got the body of a grown man. Like they're just jacked up in the chest, pec muscles, biceps, and they just look like they're looking for trouble. And then remember that a few years ago, there was that video of the dude and the kangaroo had his dog in a headlock, and then he went up to it and straight up you got to put up your dukes.
Yeah,
he put up his dukes and just straight up fought it out with the roo. The thing is, and I think you would have known if this is what happened, but a lot of times, from what I understand, the kangaroos have insane claws, and what they'll do is they get up on their back tail. Their only tail. They get on their tail, and then they lunge those claws into your body, and they'll just have your whole guts ripped out before you even realize anything happened.
Because when you told the story, I was thinking we're going to see a jack kangaroo. Yeah. Not the case.
I mean, he's in decent shape.
Noticed anything unusual about Jack's behavior since he arrived 2 weeks ago.
He stands up, tries to show his dominance like kangaroos do. And he tries to...
Can you imagine living in a place like Australia where kangaroos are like deer? Like when you walk out at night to leave and there's just a kangaroo chilling in the parking lot. Like you go out golfing and there's just kangaroos on the golf course. That would be so cool.
They act like they chill a lot. Like you would leave work and he'd be sitting on your hood smoking a cigarette.
Yeah. They must not... this guy, maybe a little bit of mystery regarding how it happened, even though he did have trauma. But I think of places like Busch Gardens where your access to the kangaroos is way more than any other animal.
Is it?
Well, so have you been in that area?
No.
So there's an area kind of like this that's they call it a walkabout. So you go in and the wallabies, which are kind of just, no offense, bitch ass kangaroos, they can actually get out. They can get out and they'll be walking right in front of you.
What?
They'll get out of the enclosure. They can hop across the trail into the other cage and they're just out and about. And the kangaroos, they are enclosed, but it's a, you can feed them. You can feed them, and the cage isn't really a cage at all. It's like a big wood fence where you can reach your arms through. So there must not be that much concern.
They don't bite and stuff
kangaroos.
like that. I guess not, right?
I guess not.
Play.
And as the family and employees wait for word on the official cause of Eric's death, I'm told that they will remember his smile.
His smile and the way that he interacted with the animals. He would go and have, full-blown conversations with the animals.
While also responding to all of the comments circulating online.
Put yourself in my shoes right now, guys. I'm not just representing my company. I'm trying to represent my brother.
What about Jack?
I'm doing this to make sure I represent him well.
Kangaroo Jack and the wallabies will be quarantined in their enclosure for a mandatory 45 days as the investigation continues. In the meantime, the farm is expected to open for the season in June, and funeral services for Eric are pending.
I wonder, I guess you got to figure out if the kangaroo really killed him. You think if they find out that the kangaroo killed him, then Jack's got to
euthanize him?
You got a GO? Jack's on his way out?
No, I feel like the brother kind of set him up. The brother seems like he does not care. He's like,
no, this Jack, he's a great guy.
He's a great guy. He'd never do this.
My brother.
Do you think this place, after the 45 days, going to have a big uptick in people wanting to see this kangaroo?
Oh, the killer kangaroo. Oh,
yeah.
Dude, that's what I'd do. I'd change the whole branding and turn it almost into a scary themed petting zoo. And it's come see Jack, the killer kangaroo.
Yeah, Jack the Ripper.
And it'd be that guy would come out and be like, hello, Jack.
Showtime.
Jack killed my brother. Hopefully he doesn't kill you.
I love your shoes.
Setting show, you're live.
Hey, guys, any chance I could go back to the guy blowing grass in your driveway?
Oh, yes, please. It's an open forum all day long here. What would you like to say?
Well, I was thinking about it, and it seems like, so the guy blows the grass in your driveway, and then he puts the fear into you that if you mention anything or retaliate in any way, that he could be crazy.
I wouldn't call it fear. I would call it. I have great hesitance. I just have hesitance to start up a neighborhood rivalry. So I have no reason to be afraid of the guy. I just don't want to start a long running beef in a house that I don't plan on moving out of anytime soon. But I get where you're coming from. You're not totally off. You're not totally off bounds.
Well, that makes sense. But I'm thinking, so since he's the best way to handle, maybe not the best way, a way to handle this is to make sure that he knows that you're like 10 times more insane than him. Go over and like take a dump in his driveway every morning, and he'll probably never bother you again.
You've got a point. If I decide that I want to take that path where I just make him somehow be more scared of starting a beef with me than I am with him, then that's definitely an option. I don't think I'm going to do that, but thank you for the call and thank you for throwing that out there. I just start doing things to make him think I'm crazy, and then all I have to do is ask him, like, I don't want to make this guy. I do not want to make this guy mad. Sending show, you're live on the air.
Yeah, maybe you need to assert your dominance over the neighbor like a kangaroo.
Dude, there could be something to be said for that.
Blow
I
up
just
on
go
him.
out there, just kind of like shirtless and just kind of give him one of these.
Yeah.
Like give him one of these upstanding.
Is he a big guy too?
No, not really.
Yeah, man. Establish dominance on this guy.
All right. Don't go anywhere. It's time to fire up John's Joints. Drew Garabo is going to join us next. Got a couple good things going on in this country, I got to say. If you like paying lower prices on things, maybe things are looking better. We'll get into that. Also, one of the biggest tourist destinations in our state, one of the most naturally beautiful spots, there's a major beef unfolding. People are being cited and charged just for enjoying Florida's natural beauty. We'll dig into that and a bunch more. Coming up next in John's Joints.
I can't walk in a room that I ain't been in. If we hadn't hooked up with my best friends, cocaine, me tequila.
If you're a homeowner, the time is now to reach out to Reese Windows. Don't wait for hurricane season to hit. If it's anything like 2024 with those storms like Helene and Milton, you got to get protection. Reese's hurricane impact windows are affordable, energy efficient, and come with a double lifetime warranty. Plus, they're installed in just 6 to 8 weeks. You can get a free quote and enter to win $15,000 in free windows. All you got to do is text TRUST to 20129. Reese has been installing windows for over 50 years, and they've got you covered. John's Joints on the way.
Shameful, hell I know. There's a laundry list that'll read.
You're listening to Setting Show on 102.5 The Bone. NASCAR lives right here on 102.5 The Bone. Sponsored by Jerry Ohm.
This week, the NASCAR Cup Series roars back to historic North Wilkesboro Speedway. All-Star Weekend in the Foothill. It's the NASCAR All-Star Open and Race.
Race Day Sundays, where NASCAR lives in Tampa Bay. Right here on 102.5 The Bone. Sponsored by Jerry Ohm Jeep Ram. #1 in the country.
If you're the victim of a car crash, take back control of your life. Call Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys at 1-800-747-FREE.
Looking to upgrade your yard? Fence Outlet specializes in stunning new fence installations at competitive prices. Don't just fence in your yard, transform it. Quality fences that add style, privacy, and an upgrade to every home. Go to fenceoutlet.com to book your free estimate. License number C10252 and C10803.
Did you know even the smallest increase in mortgage rates can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your loan? Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. It's true, even a 0.25% change in rate can cost you thousands of dollars over the life of your mortgage. But with Third Federal's new Early Rate Lock, you don't have to take chances. Early Rate Lock is the only pre-approval that locks in your rate at pre-approval, even before you find a house. Plus, we're so confident that our rates are the lowest, if you find a lower rate, we'll beat it or give you $1,000. And now through May 31st, get pre-approved with Third Federal and we'll pay all of your closing costs. So don't wait. Call Third Federal today.
Right now at Third Federal, even before you find a home, lock in 6.625%, APR 6.685% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. Zero closing costs on low-cost loans only. See conditions for lowest rate guarantee at thirdfederal.com. Equal housing lender.
Memorial Day savings all month long at Crown Hyundai.
Get financing as low as 0%. Buy with zero down or make no payments for a year on over 700 new tariff-free Hyundais. Drive a new 2025 Hyundai Elantra SE for only $99 a month. All backed by Owner Assurance, America's best warranty, including a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Crown Hyundai, the better way to buy and service.
Visit CrownHyundai.com.
With approved credit, 24-month lease, 10K miles a year, $59.95 due at signing plus dealer fee and electronic filing fee.
This hour of Setting Show is brought to you by Hawkins Service Co. One call handles it all.
1025 The Bone. Real Raw Radio. WHPT, Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete. And 1073 WXGL HD2 St. Pete. Live from the WeatherTight Windows studio. And now, back to Setting Show. It's time for John's Choice with your host, John Senning.
I come from torn jeans, rusted trucks, worn boots, couple bucks, early rising 9 to 5, hand to mouth, getting by, climbing higher up the ladder, bank account, getting.
Welcome back to Setting Show. It's time to fire up John's Joints, brought to you by Wild Fork Foods. Last night, I did something a little different. I think this is going to be my new go-to. I did a pre-seasoned mushroom and bacon crusted pork loin. I put it on the smoker for about an hour. I had the Wild Fork mushrooms. I topped it off, and then I put it over Moroccan grains. It was a very unique flavor profile, but it was absolutely delicious. They've got everything you're looking for. If it's traditional stuff, hamburgers, hot dogs, cuts for the family dinner, they got all that. You want to get a little adventurous, yak, bison, kangaroo even, they've got all of that as well. In locations in South Tampa, West Chase, and St. Pete on 4th Street North. You can get it delivered right to your house, order it and pick it up, or just go on a shopping spree. Check them out today at wildforkfoods.com.
I had yak marsala last night.
Yak marsala?
Yeah, I picked up a little yak and made a nice marsala.
Dude, I love a nice yak, man. Just to touch on it for a second, because you brought it up off the air right before we came back. It's so interesting. I don't know, they're not even posting a lot of stories, so it's hard to gauge the outrage of the public at this moment. But from something that went from not just the biggest local story to probably the top 5 biggest national stories with the Clearwater ferry crash, dead silence, radio silence, no word of charges, no update on the investigation. And I, in the beginning, thought maybe there's just too many variables here for this to just reek of a cover-up. But the absolute silence makes you wonder, like you just alluded to off the air, are they just hoping that people will forget about it?
In the last week, the only story I've read that's even adjacent to it is Clearwater Ferry to resume operations.
Yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, nothing about Jeff Knight, about charges.
I don't think we talked about it with you in the room, but I had thought about it. I had read it other places, and somebody called with it, and it's just a little too much to believe. What do you think on the conspiracy theory that maybe he wasn't driving the boat? Because we don't know who was on that boat. We know that he stepped up immediately, said that he was on it, and he took the breathalyzer. Do you know anything about his fan? Does he have kids? Does he have grown kids, teenage kids?
Yeah, I don't know.
The only way I can see that being a remote possibility is if it was his kid, if it was a teenage or somebody that he was very, very close to.
So I'm a dad, and the only person I could see doing that for would be my son.
And that's the thing. When you talk about friends and you talk about another acquaintance that might have been on the boat, if he steps up and does that, if it's a relative, I guess it could end up coming back to his fame and fortune no matter what. But it would have to be your own child if you're going to put yourself out there knowing that when these civil lawsuits start rolling in, which they already are, they're going to have a giant target on all of your businesses and all of your millions.
Would you get in more or less trouble if you allowed someone to drive your boat who is inebriated, or if you said you were driving sober and hit someone and someone died?
That's actually a great, I would say, I mean, I think you can have other people drive your boat.
Sure.
I mean, I don't know what the boating laws say about if it's your vessel, ensuring that whoever's in control of your vessel is of sound mind and body. But I still think that if you were driving it sober under those circumstances, you might find yourself in more trouble than just the charge for whatever it is for letting somebody who's wasted drive your boat.
Yeah, it seems awful preposterous that he would try to switch drivers or whatever, but you never know.
You really
we don't have
don't.
any investigation, though. Like, how long has the FWC been investigating? 3-4 weeks now?
Yeah, well, you sent me that article that day that did give a little bit of information about FWC investigations on the water, and they are a little more involved. Like not knowing much, I would have thought something that's caught on video and happens on the water, the people that saw it. The people that were on the boat were there, and you kind of figure it all out fairly quickly. It's not like a road where sometimes the road and the tire marks and different elements tell a story. You don't have all of that. So I would have thought that it would be quicker, but it turns out there is a bunch that goes into it. I still think at this point, though, to hear absolutely nothing, with this case that was so big, feels a little bit fishy.
Is it possible that they are trying to track down the alleged dolphins that were being observed?
That's
so they can interview
probably.
them?
I didn't think about that. I did not think about. That's
I like
probably,
to look at all
That's
angles.
probably exactly what it is. Because
Yeah.
I mean, you got to find out who they were, hunt them down, capture them.
Yep.
So yeah, I think you're probably onto something.
Good. A lot of those dolphins look alike.
They really do. Diz sent me this with this question that I thought was pretty good for all of us in the room.
Hold on,
here.
Diz sends you stories?
So, he does. So he sent me this with the question. There's a story in a video from when Jelly Roll was in Tampa last weekend, and he ended up bringing a 9-year-old girl on stage to perform with him. And the FLA did a nice piece. This 9-year-old girl hasn't stopped smiling since the unforgettable night that her idol pulled her up on stage. I might even have just a short little snippet of it to. So he kind of waves her up.
I can count the times you made me feel like I'm nothing. Make me like a fool. Like a fool.
Did I tell you I'm turning on Jelly Roll, by the way?
No, why?
What?
Yeah.
What?
Oh, yeah. So I'm watching this very heartfelt video, making it a tough time to admit all this, but
what'd he do?
It's not what he did.
Is it because he's getting skinny?
No, not the skinny thing.
Because he ran that 5K with Bert and Tom?
No. I mean, I don't want. It seems like something that just a bitter fan of somebody who was like a fan of him before they got big would say. But to say that he's selling out feels like an understatement.
Yeah.
Like, you can say no to something. Like, this guy is saying, I would love to see what gets brought to him that he says no for. I mean, he's doing Amazon Prime commercials. He's doing Zevia soda commercials. He hasn't been called to sing a national anthem that he won't do. He is literally everywhere. He's becoming very, very polished. He's losing the weight. And I just think the things that made him so great in the beginning, they're like, look at this gritty guy from the streets that's had a troubled past. His past will always be his past.
Sure.
But I feel like he's losing a little bit of the element that made him so great. And it really feels like he is leaving anybody who was a part of his past in the dust to be this new version of Jelly Roll.
I get that. He is everywhere.
Yeah, and the thing that really got me was last Thursday night was the ACM Country Awards. And I kept calling him, when we were watching, I kept saying he was the new age Taylor Swift. Because you know how at these award shows, Taylor Swift is always like putting on her own personal show for everybody. Yeah. Every time the camera's on him, it's like he's performing the song. He's sucking face with Bunny every time the camera gets onto him. And it's just like, I don't know. I feel like the things that made me fall in love with Jelly Roll, they're just starting to slowly drift away one by one.
Do you think that he's saying yes to everything because he's a lot older than newer artists, and he goes, I need to strike while the iron's hot, because I'm going to be on a decline soon, and I want to have all the money I can right now.
And there's something to be said for that. I think it also attaches to his music, where like everything now is just this. You know what I mean? Like he really is leaning into. Like you can be bad and have done bad things, but God still, you know what I mean? Like it's getting to be borderline Christian music, which I don't have a problem with, but at all. I would listen to Christian music. I just think to have gone so far and have changed so much, it just feels like he sold his soul a little bit to the Illuminati.
Hell yeah. F him and his positivity.
No, it's not that. It's not. He's positive. He's a great person to follow along with. He absolutely is, but just don't forget where you came from. That's all I'm saying.
Did you see that Billy Idol and Steve Stevens went to the Dolly Museum while they were in town?
No, in St. Pete?
Yeah.
Dude.
I don't know if they closed the place down for the two of them, but there were all these pictures of Steve and Billy like checking out the Dolly Museum.
Mo,
That's danzig.
Dude, but he'd do a great cover of it though, wouldn't he?
He would.
Billy Idol.
Nice day for you, mother.
So Diz asked the question, and I'll ask you first. What would be 9-year-old Drew Garabo's dream artist to pull him up on stage? 9-year-old Drew Garabo.
At 9, definitely Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Oh, dude.
Really?
Yeah, that was like at 9, Kiss was everything to me.
Because your family played it, or like?
Oh
where'd that
no.
come from?
I just the makeup, the theatrics, the music was all right, but it's never been about the music with Kiss. I just was so enamored with Gene's persona that if I went to go see them and he was like, "Hey, who's that scrawny geeky kid right there in the front row? I'm Gene Simmons from Kiss. Get up here."
Okay.
That'd be a pretty good one.
That'd be it for me.
Who would yours be, Diz?
Easy for me. There was one celebrity star that was just everything to me. Whatever he did, I go, well, I want to do that now for a living. That was Will Smith at the time.
Oh, yeah. Will Smith is a good one.
You couldn't tell me there was a better rapper than Will Smith to 9-year-old me. I'm like, you don't know rap.
Yeah, that's a good one, and probably a pretty solid pick. Mine would have absolutely been Garth.
Oh yeah,
would have been Garth Brooks
from
for sure.
Wayne's World.
No, Garth Brooks.
Not Garth Algar.
Yeah, Garth Brooks. Did you see that? I don't know if you've been seeing the previews for it. Tom Segura has a new show coming to Netflix. I think it's out today. It looks really, really interesting. It's supposedly like very dark in like dark comedy. Every episode is a different story, and he has an episode that is seemingly about Garth Brooks being a serial killer. He's playing Garth, and it's about a country music star who goes town to town and murders people when he goes and performs.
I love that he's not letting that go.
He's really not.
Can I amend my choice?
Yeah.
It would be either Gene Simmons or Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees. I loved the Bee Gees back then.
You would have made a great little baby Bee Gee.
I would like for you to come up on stage with me and my brother.
There's really no way to segue to this, but just know that the people that we think we can trust most in this life, you can't, and it's not just a morbid fascination. I think there's almost an importance to bringing these stories up every day because it is often the people that you feel like you can trust the most with your kids, with your relatives, that end up being just demons. A Pasco County elementary school teacher is facing criminal charges related to child sexual abuse material, according to state prosecutors. Florida Attorney General James Upmeyer says investigators arrested Joseph Watson of Land O'Lakes. Upmeyer says, in addition to Watson's job as a soon-to-be former teacher, he was also a leader in a church choir and took part in the church's summer youth program.
Ooh.
It's hard to find a more depraved example of someone who betrayed the local community's trust than Mr. Watson, Utmeyer said in a statement on social media. My prosecutors will bring down the full weight of the law on this predator. Utmeyer did not release any further details ahead of a planned news conference, which is going to take place today at 2 p.m. We'll probably find out more about what exactly they found. But how do you navigate the waters of life as a parent when the people, like, I hate that you can't just trust people. But I mean, without knowing much about this guy, I'm thinking elementary school teacher, summer youth leader at the church, part of the choir. In most runs of life and in most communities, that's the type of person that people would trust. And whether it's just a teacher or somebody involved with the church, these people in positions of power, often trusted with children, are the ones that prey upon them first and foremost. What do you do other than lock your kid away?
You can't trust anyone. Like parents will blindly trust an educator who is also a church choir leader blindly. They'll go, oh, he's with the Lord. There's just no way that this guy could do this. I'll let him take my kid for the weekend.
It's absolutely insane. I was asking you if you saw, and I was trying to find the exact moment that I wanted to share, but Tim Tebow just appeared on a podcast where his life's work at this exact moment is digging into child sexual abuse and sexual trafficking and stuff. And he shared some details, and he also shared like these maps so he shared this map showing 111,000 IP addresses. This is from the Justice Department that had downloaded child porn of kids under the age of 12 in just the past 30 days. And it's a map. It's all red. Like it's a map of the United States, and you can barely see the United States because it's just red everywhere. And it is, it really, I don't want to say that it's like our dirty little secret in this country, but it kind of is, because I don't feel like we tackle it every day. We read the stories, we go, oh, that's so terrible. How could it be? The other fact, which was really the clip that I was trying to find that I can't seem to find at this exact moment, was that, the number one abuser of children?
Drag queens.
Not drag queens.
Oh.
Biological fathers.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man.
And then it's like you figure that out and you go, well, what can we do? Like, what is there that you can do? If it's and that's the way that he frames it. He says,
oh man,
this might be. Hold on, let me see if
that's crazy.
Let me see this clip.
1,423 unique IP addresses. I mean, how many kids does that amount to?
It's hard to know. And by the way, this is only one database, and there are multiple databases.
Yeah, that's the map.
Oh my God.
Jesus Christ. A lot on the East Coast, not a lot on the West.
Painted John 3:16 on his eye.
It's crazy. It's really, and he kind of tips the cap to just the fact that there's not being enough done. And what could you ever really do? But it's a sad reality here in this country, and we see it every day locally and across the country.
Can I ask you a question that I'll be asking at 5:00?
Yes.
There's a guy who is facing the death penalty either this week or this weekend. He was abused sexually as a child. Should that factor into sparing someone's life when it comes to the guy murdered several people, like lured women in, brutally murdered them, but he was sexually abused as a kid. Should that factor in at all when you're considering capital punishment? Monsters aren't just born, they're created. But
we're not talking about a free man. We're talking about the difference between life in prison and probably the death penalty.
Sparing his life. They're not going to let him go, but should you spare his life or should you put him down?
Put him down.
Yeah, I think the problem is that at some point it becomes more about the victims than the person who perpetrated the crime. Right. I think where the victims, they were obviously had nothing to do with what happened in this man's past. Correct. And I think at that point it's not a pass, because we should feel bad for people that are abused, but it is an undeniable, take out the murder part of it. From what I understand, a lot of times kids that are abused when they're young sexually, they are very likely to then become abusers. So then, do we look at those people differently? Like in the court of law, if they can let's say that it's on the books. Let's say that this kid, his dad or his uncle or whoever went to prison for the things that he did to him, and then all these years later he's abusing kids. Does that hold any weight in court when you go and you have those discussions?
No, we're responsible for our own actions.
Yeah, but it is, it is also scary to think about when you look at something like I just showed you guys and you look at all those dots on the map. So if there's potentially 10, 20, 30 victims connected to every dot on that map, how many hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of potential future predators themselves are there? So what do you do to just cut it off? And I'm not certain. Well, I am certain they haven't figured out what that is yet to stop the trend.
Nor will they.
Because I don't know. I don't think in most countries it's as bad as it is here. Is it?
I wouldn't think so.
In civilized countries.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because they have more barbaric punishment, probably, which acts as a deterrent. Not that we should, but
a lot of people, that's what they say is, are we making it scary enough? Like if you, but then you look into the people that would argue it is and I don't say this as a pass, but there are people that argue it's a disease.
Right.
Can any amount of punishment stop these people? if it's in their brain and it's already taken over.
Man, I don't know. You got to watch Kevin Bacon, The Woodsman.
I tried.
I know.
It's so
sad.
It's so sad. It's so sad.
But it's so telling when it comes to like people who have been abused and then people who have been convicted of those crimes and then try to rehabilitate and fight those compulsions to abuse children.
Is The Woodsman the movie where a kid goes missing or like there's a child predator gets him and they get him who used to be a child predator to go help?
Yeah.
Oh, you've seen it?
I've heard the concept of it and I was like, that sounds dark.
Let me push you down towards the end. Most Def plays a detective in it. And
Really?
Yeah, he's really, really good. And he's like the one who wants to use Kevin Bacon to kind of sniff out the other molester.
It's like Silence of the Lambs with
Pretty
child
much,
predator.
except, Most Def is hotter than Jodie Foster.
Nothing to do with anything, but maybe as a palate cleanser to move us on that away from
She slays more punani, though. I'm sorry, what?
Child abuse. I watched. Did you or did you not watch the most recent episode of The Rehearsal?
I did not.
Dude, we didn't make it through it. It got to. I just don't think I was in the proper mood for it.
Yeah.
It got too damn weird for me. It got like it just wasn't the energy that I was looking
Nathan
for.
Fielder got weird?
Dude.
Yeah.
What he goes through in this episode,
crazy,
is. Can I give you a little sneak
Yeah,
peek?
of course.
So it's the whole idea of how to make a great pilot. Like, how do you make a pilot that is willing to listen to his co-pilot and all of that? And it starts with the idea of these people that cloned their dog. They cloned their dog.
Oh, that's not the newest one.
Oh, there's one more after that.
Yeah,
oh,
but
geez.
go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
He finds these people that clone their dogs, and they're saying the problem is these dogs. We cloned our dog, and we have these new dogs, but they're nothing like our old dog. So he goes, well, what if we could have these dogs live the exact life that your previous dog lived? So he 100% recreates the home that the initial dog lived in.
Yep.
Finds out the dichotomy of the husband and wife and then makes them live this life with this dog to see if they can turn it into the dog that had died that they had cloned. But that was only as a trial period because the episode revolves around Sully, the pilot.
Oh, yeah.
Who was great.
Yeah.
Who was great and a great
Miracle on the
pilot.
Hudson, yeah.
So he wanted to see if he could get people to live the exact same life as Sully if he could turn a pilot into as great of a pilot as Sully was. So he lives the life of Sully from a baby to being grown. And I don't know if they say how long the time period is, but like Sully wrote a book. So all of these things about Sully's life, Nathan Fielder lives Sully's life so far. And this was the part where, believe it or not, knowing what I'm into, I turned it off.
Oh, no way.
He's breastfeeding from this giant fake mom, and there's just milk like pouring out, and he's like
drowning.
He's like choking on it.
It's like waterboarding.
Dude, it is. It's so weird.
He's such a weirdo.
Yeah.
It's so.
He makes the dad walk around on stilts, so he's a lot bigger.
Yeah.
And it looks like a.
And so he's like, they make like he's a baby, so the crib is huge. So he's like a little baby, and like the mom. It's just. It's rough. Man.
He might be the most creative mind in the comedy television game.
And what I wonder, and I know some of them have been proven, is it just a bit or is he really doing all of that?
What do you mean, the rehearsals?
Like
is he just? Are they all actors?
Are they filming that? Are they filming that? And then that's the bit, or is he really going through with it?
I don't know.
Because this is another thing, and you guys saw this one. The people, remember when he made the fake television show, the fake American Idol, Canadian Idol thing? Yeah. So the people that were a part of that all got pissed and are lashing out at him, saying that people traveled from across the country to go audition. They thought it was a real show, and it turned out to be fake. Which I heard that did they bring him back in the 4th episode? He feels bad about it, so he's actually going to do the show.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It starts with that.
I know you're going to love this, Drew. Friend of Drew, Evan Longoria, who holds several Tampa Bay Rays franchise records from his tenure as the team's beloved third baseman, will officially retire as a Ray in June. Team officials announced on Monday that Longoria will sign a one-day contract ahead of a pregame ceremony at Steinbrenner Field in Tampa on June 7th. In 2006, the Rays, known then as the Devil Rays, selected Longoria out of Long Beach State University with the 3rd overall pick in the draft. I don't know if it's just because he had a great relationship with you and the station and he was so cool. To me, without a shadow of a doubt, in my time that I've been in this area, Longoria is the biggest star the Rays have ever had by a long shot.
Oh, you won't find any Ray in franchise history more beloved than Longo. I don't think.
Dude, you should call him. Not right now, but well, you could call him right now.
You think he'd pick up?
Dude, how great would that be?
What do you think, Des? You think he's going to pick up?
What time is it? 3:20.
It's 3:26.
What you want me to raw dog call him? Or should I text and say, hey?
I'm always going to vote for the raw dog.
Raw dog.
And I mean, you could just say, hey, man.
Just want to see if you have time to come on the show.
We're so happy to know that you're gonna retire as a Ray. We love you.
Okay. Feels weird calling him.
I feel like we've done this before, and
he didn't pick up.
No, I feel like you felt the same way then.
Yeah, I did.
But he's gonna pick up. He's coming back home, baby. He's gonna love to see the DRG on his caller ID.
You got an 813 number, right?
It's 407.
Oh, he's got his number saved.
He's got my number saved.
Longo's got his number saved. They used to be boys.
All right. So I feel so nervous.
Don't be nervous.
All right. So call him.
I say call him.
Okay. Here we go.
Your call.
Oh, wow. That was. I don't even know if he had time to deny.
Yeah,
the
no.
call.
It means his phone's off.
His phone is absolutely
We'll go with that.
Why is this so nerve wracking? I feel like I was calling a girl in 5th grade again. He's so hot.
You need to put on Candlebox far behind. Pump yourself up.
That's what he used to do.
Yeah. Dude, this is a very, very interesting story. And we went to, how many years ago was that we went to Weeki Wachee?
That was COVID, so 2021.
Oh, yeah. That was the second. Was that the second COVID? Because remember, you were sick. No, you got it, but then you also blew out the candles and we hung out for days and nobody else got it. Remember that time?
Yeah, no, that was the first COVID.
Yeah, great. Or second. Because the first one was the
I thought that was just after
Oh, that probably makes
right?
sense. That probably makes
Wasn't
sense.
that just because the disrupted season and whatnot?
That makes sense.
So, yeah.
To the untrained eye, the Weeki Wachee River looks beautiful, stunning, and perfect. But if you look close enough, you'll spot signs of damage that some believe are caused by visitors who may or may not know they are harming the river. The once luscious banks along the river continue to erode. Trees are being undermined, and the eelgrass on the river bottom is being trampled. A 2020 study by the Southwest Florida Water Management District reached the same conclusion. Human recreation is impacting the river's health and has over time. So in the summer of 2023, Hernando County requested that the state approve new rules for the Weeki Wachee. Multiple miles of the river were deemed a spring protection zone, and as a result, boaters and paddlers can no longer anchor their boats or tie them to trees and hang out on the riverbanks, and which is great. But now people are mad because law enforcement isn't doing anything. They have only written 6 citations and given 30 warnings in the first 4 months of 2025. So the sheriff's office is having to come out now and kind of defend themselves a little bit. From what I'm seeing on a lot of the people talking about this is that this is not the biggest issue facing the Weeki Wachee, and that there's all sort of water coming in from other places that is putting sand on the bottom of the river. There's also, runoff that is taking place that is killing the grass and stuff like that. Very interesting to think about a place where that's what people do. They go, they hang out, and people who hate this are saying, are we really going to get behind an idea that people are loving the Weeki Wachee to death?
Yeah, I guess there's a TikToker named River Daddy.
Yes, I know River Daddy.
Oh, you do?
I mean, no, I know of him. We know. I'm 99% positive River Daddy is the guy that when we rode by, he had all those political signs and had all the toys out and stuff.
I was thinking.
I'm pretty sure that is River Daddy.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. And fun fact, that was the last time Sarah and I got into a fight 4 years ago over a kayak, over a sinking kayak.
Dude, we took out the kayak. So Danielle and I were in one kayak, and you guys were in another kayak.
Yep.
Their kayak started taking on water. Oof. Once we were far, we were a distance away from where we needed to return to, and it started taking on water, and it did get a little tense, and then. We tried. Well, we didn't try. We did. We pulled it up into somebody's yard, and then the person came out and were pissed at us because we took it into their yard.
You were drowning?
Yeah, they sorry, I'm drowning here. I need to find a place where we can empty this water from the kayak. They were not having it.
They were not happy.
Kayaking and canoeing. That's a lot of couples bicker.
They do. They call that the
what do they call it?
The divorcer, something like that. Like a tandem kayak is not for the faint of heart. It takes a lot of time. We bought one during COVID, and there have definitely been many of occasions when it gets a little tense, when it's like, no, the other way, the other paddle,
The other left.
the other side.
God,
No,
don't you ever listen to me? Yeah, will you leave your clothes on the friggin' clothes? You know?
It's a lot. It's a lot of that. Add on top of it, your boat is sinking.
Yeah,
and that is. I remember by the time we got it back, you guys were like underwater. I think.
Just about the entire damn thing was sunk.
We got to go back and do that again, because if you'll remember, something happened right before. There was a big tropical storm that came through, because remember, like that area where there was a bunch of big logs and a bunch of it was very mucky and murky and things like that. And the areas that were supposed to be super clear weren't in a bunch of areas. So we got to do that again when it's all clear.
I would love to. Sarah found the perfect little Airbnb. We saw manatees like from the kayaks. It was gorgeous. At Brian's Place restaurant in Hernando Beach.
Yeah.
Is it a good workout, or is it a workout where you're just so tired on the way back?
Both.
Well, that I will say, the water is pretty calm. So you go out here on certain days, like out in the bay when the water's choppy, and it can be real rough. I mean, the water there is pretty mellow. Like if you were looking for an entry-level place to start and do some kayaking, that's probably a good place, because you're not fighting against a huge current.
No, and then you rent a house that's like right on the river, so you can just pull right up to the house and give your friends COVID.
Yeah.
I tried.
What you did, it's so funny too, because there's literally a video that I still have of Drew blowing out the candles on his cake with COVID, that we all then ate that cake.
Like you didn't know what COVID felt like at the time, and I had a dry cough that I figured was just from the air conditioning.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, I'm fine. John and I are slobbering all over fajitas that we're making on the
You
grill.
posted that story because I remember you guys talking about it.
Yeah.
And it's ringing a bell now.
Yeah, dude.
It was like a wooden type, not a wooden, but it was like all wood type of kitchen or something.
yeah.
I remember that video.
Yeah, and I remember we were grilling together. We were sharing other mouth-to-mouth
kisses. Yeah,
of course, and other things, and somehow came out the other side.
And I slobbered all over Birdie, all over every inch of her beautiful body, and she didn't get it.
So weird,
insane.
What a world. All right, I'm going to hold on to these last couple for the backside of the joints. One of them including a. I don't know what the age is where you know better. I don't know if 7 and 9 you should know better, but I would imagine if you're that age and you're being told to do something by the police, most kids would do it. These kids did not. And I'll tell you how that all ended up next with more John's Joints. But first, we'd love to tell you about Wind Derby at Derby Lane. This place right here on Gandy in beautiful St. Petersburg is an institution. And if you feel like you don't know the ins and outs of poker, don't worry. They got a big, beautiful mural on the wall that's going to explain everything for you.
You got a bunch of people in the office and you want to have a get-together this summer. You don't want to do it outside where it's hot and rainy. Do it inside where there's lots of room at Derby Lane. Get yourself one of their big rooms. Play a little poker, play a little pie gal, a little bit of war. Everyone in your office will have an absolute blast, and you could win a ton of money doing it.
$10,000 to $100,000 being given away every single day. And like we've told you, Ultimate Texas Hold'em is their most popular game, and it's a great place to get into it. Maybe you're feeling like, I've always wanted to learn, but I just don't know how. Well, now with this giant mural, it is made and meant to make the whole process smooth so you'll know exactly what you're doing. You're never going to have to worry about parking. There's plenty. You can still bet on the ponies remotely. Tournaments and events going on all the time as well. Check them out. win-derby.com. That's win-derby.com.
To confuse the issue or refer familiar heroes from love.
You're listening to Setting Show on 102.5 The Bone. The Bone Bonus is back. The Bone is giving you $1,000 5 times a day, every weekday. Listen to The Bone for your chance to win $1,000 at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, 2, and 5 p.m. every weekday. Want to make an omelet, but eggs are still way too expensive? The Bone has your back. It's the Bone Bonus, hooking you up with cash every single weekday. Presented to you by Farah and Farah, Tampa's accident attorneys. FarahandFarah.com. The Bone Bonus is back. 102.5 The Bone, real, raw radio. Now, a Bone traffic update from the Farah and Farah Personal Injury Attorneys Traffic Center.
They cleared that wreck southbound US 19 at Curlew in Pinellas fairly quickly. All lanes now open. Northbound traffic is delayed about the same. That's usually the case anyway between Curlew and Northside. Standard delays in Hillsborough for the most part. Earlier incident on Hillsborough Avenue eastbound between Havana and Himes is only backing traffic up a smidge. Although we do have an earlier incident southbound 275 at I-4. Looks like Road Ranger directing traffic right shoulder blockage at least. Traffic flowing fairly smoothly, though, around it. And southbound 301 at Dr. King backed up about 15 minutes to I-4. Dr. King westbound affected a bit. This is Eric in the Farah Traffic Center.
You know, it's interesting. Car insurance commercials tend to focus on the simple fixes. A busted windshield, a banged up bumper. What about the human damages like pain and suffering? Farah and Farah, Tampa's accident attorneys won't let big insurance forget about your pain. For a Farah fight, you know who to call. Tampa.
Get this. Joey and me were supposed to go to this concert next week, right? But then something terrible happened. Joey was driving without a seatbelt. But he didn't wreck. No, he got pulled over. Now Joey has to pay for a seatbelt ticket instead of a concert ticket, and I have to go by myself. How lame is that? So Joey, if you're out there, you're an idiot. Wear your seatbelt or you'll get a ticket.
All across the country, cops are cracking down. Click it or ticket, day and night.
Funded by the Florida Department of Transportation.
If you want your windows there in weeks, pick up the phone and just text Reese.
John Setting here. Are you ready to win $15,000 in new impact windows from Reese Windows? Well, pick up your phone right now and text the word TRUST to 20129. That's TRUST to 20129.
Furman Chevrolet in Brandon is Tampa Bay's #1 Chevy dealer. What makes us #1 at Furman Chevy Brandon? We say yes. Yes to having Tampa Bay's largest tariff-free new Chevy inventory. Yes to paying top dollar for your trade. And right now, we say yes to 0.9% APR for 60 months on the purchase of a new 2025 Chevy Silverado. Come see why we are #1. Visit us on Adamo Drive in Brandon or online at FurmanChevy.com. Furman Chevy Brandon. Together, let's drive.
Add value and security to your property today by contacting Fence Outlet. Now offering customers 0% financing for 12 months on any Fence product. Go to fenceoutlet.com today for more details. Terms of financing apply. License number C-10252 and C-10803.
Silencer Code Day is back at Shark Coast Tactical. This Saturday, May 17th, Shark Coast Tactical will be hosting the crew from Silencer Co. at the shop. Your chance to meet and learn about the Silencer Co. product line while they're slinging deals on their amazing line of silencers. There'll be extra Shark Coast employees on hand to fill out paperwork quicker so you can get your silencers entered in and back to you fast. Shark Coast Tactical is often imitated but never duplicated. The shop is open, slinging freedom from 10 to 6 daily, but closed on Sunday and open online 24/7 at sharkcoasttactical.com. Shark Coast Tactical is on Bee Ridge Road in Sarasota. Tell them Mike Calda sent you.
Drinking and driving don't mix. If you've been injured by a drunk driver, we're Bernetti PA and we sue drunk drivers. We know you may not have been ready. Call 1-800-BERNETTI. We're ready. Offices Tampa, Lakeland, and Pinellas.
Time marches on, and a lot has changed. But one thing has not changed. Washington regulations on local stations. Regulations that make it tough for local TV and radio stations to compete with global big tech platforms. If you want to keep local news, weather, and live sports on TV and radio, we need updated regulations. Tell Washington to modernize the rules to help local stations compete. Learn more at nab.org/modernize the rules. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
How did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you. All of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Malcolm is a listening learner. So he checks with Babbel's speech recognition to be
Precio.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Serving my country required sacrifice. Sacrifice that changed my life forever. I remember the day I came home. Because of my injuries, this house wasn't right for me anymore. I remember the narrow doorways, the small bathrooms. the shelves out of reach when in my wheelchair. Every day was full of obstacles. I felt trapped. I remember a better day, the day my family received a specially adapted custom home from Homes for Our Troops. That day changed everything. Now we have a safe and accessible home to enjoy the freedom I fought for. This place, our home, is exactly what we needed to rebuild our lives.
Homes for Our Troops builds and donates specially adapted custom homes nationwide for severely injured post 9/11 veterans and enables them to rebuild their lives. Join our mission at hfotusa.org.
Summer should be full of possibilities, not hunger. We're proud to support Cereal for Summer with Feeding Tampa Bay and 10 Tampa Bay. Join us and help provide healthy breakfast throughout Tampa Bay. For details and ways to help, go to cerealforsummer.org.
Involved in a car accident? We understand the pressure you're under. Call Farah and Farah. Tampa.
With the guaranteed offer from Mark Spain Real Estate, you can receive an all-cash offer and move when you're ready. No showings, no open houses, no stress. Call 855-299-SOLD or go to markspain.com and start packing.
Now, a weather update from the Sun Toyota Weather Center.
SunToyota.com. I'm Fox 13 Chief Meteorologist Paul Delgado. Quiet weather next couple of days. Skies becoming mostly clear tonight. Lows in the low 70s. On Wednesday, lots of sunshine, some clouds popping up. High temperatures mid to upper 80s. Then on Thursday, the heat really gets going. Lots of sunshine with highs near 90.
Now, back to Real Raw Radio. Sponsored by Anajar and Levine, Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE.
That's 1-800-747-3733.
And now, back to Senning Show. With your host, John Senning.
I know you're in town, Aaron. I hope you're out there, buddy. You're not the only one.
Hey, George Clooney. I've never seen you before. Never seen you.
Am I the only one
Never seen you, George
here
Clooney.
tonight? Shaking my head and thinking something ain't right. Is it just me?
I did, not just because Stain is in town tonight, but I did have a couple political leaning things that I wanted to touch on. Are you seeing and hearing the details that are coming out from Jake Tapper's new book about Joe Biden and how absolutely feeble this guy was, that they were about to put him in a wheelchair if he fell one more time? I have a clip of him on CNN talking about just how bad it really was for old Uncle Joe.
Curious about what his advisors were saying at the time as you look at this, as you reported out this book.
So the White House physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, was telling White House aides that President Biden's deterioration of his spine, the degeneration, was so significant that if he fell one more time, that he might have to be in a wheelchair and serve in a wheelchair for his second term. But everybody pushed off the notion that he use a wheelchair until after the election. This is all part of a larger whole where the Biden White House tried to hide the extent of his deterioration, both physical and cognitive, as much as possible. In fact, as we all know, we all saw, as his shuffling gait got worse and worse from 2003 to 2004, they started putting aids around him as he walked to Marine One, the helicopter, that was to kind of hide from public view how bad his gait was, how bad his walking was, his shuffling, and also in case he stumbled again to make sure somebody was there. And this is just of a piece of an overall campaign to try to conceal from the American people the extent to which the president was really struggling to do his job.
It's so interesting to me, and this will be about as political as I get.
Ooh, yeah.
If you hate our current president more than life itself,
right,
you should hate Joe Biden even more. Because he is the reason that Donald Trump got elected.
Yep.
If he would have stepped aside, if he would have allowed there have been an actual primary where, the will of the people could have gone forth, who the hell knows who would have been the candidate? Who knows how it would have gone down? That White House and Joe Biden himself actively lied and covered up what was really going on to the American people. And when it was all said and done and the cards fell, there wasn't much of an option for the American people other than Donald Trump. Kamala Harris, she gave it a go. She sure tried, but she was never going to win. It was never a real thing. And for all the anger you have towards Donald Trump, you should take a little bit of it and put it towards the Democratic Party and probably the media and everybody involved who were actively, knowingly covering up the fact that this guy was falling apart before our very eyes. And so many people knew it, and they were tricked into thinking that can't be what they're seeing because they said something different. It's absolutely insane. And this is Jake Tapper. This guy who's a lot of this reporting came from is a CNN guy who doesn't like Donald Trump at all. I don't think would call himself far right or even right wing. It's very, very interesting to hear all this reported borderline casually now, like the ramifications aren't the president and everybody connected to him lied directly to the face of the American people.
To your point, it almost looks like a Republican conspiracy to keep Biden in the race for so long and then replace him with an unelectable candidate like Kamala Harris, rather than bowing out with dignity and allowing anyone else to run against Donald Trump.
Yeah, and I think it will always just be Trump is so bad that anybody could have been better, but that's a fairy tale. You know what I mean? Like, that is just you can't put the first breathing body that's there who happens to be the vice president and just say, well, it's not Trump. Everything's going to be fine. Like, I think we're far beyond that at a time when things in the country, a lot of people already had problems with. And she sat right up there on TV and said, yeah, I don't really think I would have done anything differently. I don't think there's too much that I can change. I mean, everything was laid out for Trump to have a very, very easy path. And I feel like maybe all this coverage and all these new details will make people think twice. But if you're mad at Trump, Uncle Joe deserves a bit of that too.
Sure, but who else was there? And I'm trying to think of any other Democrat that could have been a candidate. I don't know who it is.
People never got a chance to decide. I mean, we could be talking about candidates that we don't even know exist.
Right.
I mean, who knows that if you get a legitimate Joe Biden, I'm out. Let's go through the process of a true primary. Who knows who rises to the top? I mean, if a Pete Buttigieg gets involved, a Gavin Newsom gets a chance. These guys that are really good at talking to people that they disagree with and not alienating them. Who knows what could have happened down the stretch? And we will never know because they took the democratic process and wiped their ass with it. Related but unrelated, two pieces of news. The year-over-year consumer inflation rate in the U.S. dropped to 2.3% in April of 2025, marking the lowest rate in over 4 years, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, said in a report that was released earlier today. Tuesday's release of the Consumer Price Index indicates that President Donald Trump's newly imposed tariffs have yet to impact the broader economy, as many economists predict that prices on consumer goods could rise in the coming months. Florida also enjoying the lowest gas prices since December of 2023.
$1.90?
Not $1.90, dropping to $2.90. We got a buck more to go.
Oh, man.
We got a buck more to go. I will say, I'm not saying that he's turned the whole thing around, but I think he's getting a couple dubs. When everybody was part of the panicking party, I think people are panicking a little bit less. That being said, you brought it up during the break. I'm seeing tons of people, Republicans and not, that have a problem with him accepting this palace in the sky from Qatar, which is absolutely. And then you've got the people that are trying to say it's just it's a troll, which that can't be your excuse for everything.
No,
like everything can't be a troll. And the big part of it. So he's going to use it as Air Force One, and then he just gets to keep it. Like, it's not like he's not going, hey, this is going to be great for our country for the next 50 years because we're going to use this as Air Force One. Yeah. He gets a really nice plane, and then he just leaves with it. He just takes it away.
And I guarantee you he's not going to, like, when you win money on a game show, you have to pay taxes on that. When you win the lottery, you got to pay tax on. I guarantee you he ain't paying no luxury tax on that big plane.
Well, and I think the element of it being a bribe is first and foremost what people think of, and they go, well, this just feels wrong.
Right.
They're giving you this multi-million, if not billion-dollar thing, and then what do we owe them because of that? The second part is, do we trust that plane? Do you trust that? Do you trust that there aren't listening devices deeply embedded in that plane?
There are terrorists being hidden on that plane.
Do you trust that that everything is on the? There are so many elements of that plane thing that when he just so brazenly goes, you're just fake news. You're talking about something nobody cares about it.
Yeah.
I think more people care about it than you'd think.
Yeah, I've seen some of his staunch supporters. I think Ben Shapiro was one of them.
A lot of them are railing against it and saying, who can be in favor of this?
Who could? What is it? The Trump library gets the plane when it's all over?
Yeah, AKA Trump.
And right now he's meeting with the Saudi Arabia.
He is with the Saudi, which I will say I saw that he seems to have changed his tune greatly on the Gaza scenario, where he's talking about what terrible things they're going through and trying to get them, more aid. It is weird only because you can't be beholden to everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I think there's a whole group of people right now that feel like Israel is controlling the White House and they're doing the bidding of Netanyahu and all of that. You can't have it both ways. He can't be doing the bidding of Qatar and Saudi Arabia and Israel at the same exact time. So maybe there's some shaking and moving and deals being made. That being said, the plane still feels wrong.
I don't think he'll end up being able to take that plane.
I don't think so as well.
Nice gesture, though.
It is very nice. And just because I touched on it, shocking video showed 2 boys aged 7 and 9 armed with a loaded firearm in a standoff with law enforcement in Albuquerque, New Mexico. The video was just released. The sheriff's office put out a 6-minute video, and drone footage showed the 2 boys dressed in Minecraft and Star Wars-themed clothing as they stood behind a covered unit. The handgun was clearly visible, and they passed the weapon between one another. The boys are then seen looking around and moving to different sides. The cops just repeatedly are telling them to put the gun down, put the gun down. One of their moms is screaming, put the gun down. They will not put the gun down. It is,
what happened?
They ended up moving in on them. They ended up
SWAT team.
Yeah, like 6 cops came in and kind of bum rushed these kids. But I mean, I don't know what was going on, but I would think at the age of 7 or 9, I would know that if the police are surrounding me and I have a gun and they're telling me to drop it, I think I would know.
At the very least, your mom comes and yells at you, like, all right, you better drop it now.
And it's a real gun?
It's a real gun.
Oh, man.
It is a real gun. And they were white kids, just so you know. So
that's why they were.
That's why they're still alive. Yeah. That's what the comments.
I mean,
that's what the comments said on Blue Sky. So I'll leave it at that.
Blue Sky.
Yeah, my Threads account told me that was
Threads.
Yeah.
That was a thing for like a minute.
Every now and again, I'll get a thing that says like so and so posted on Threads.
Oh yeah, and then you click on it, and then it says you have to install Threads to see it. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Setting show is over. Thank you to everybody who participated. Shout out to Mo DeWitt. Just call Mo.com. Thank you, Dizzy. Appreciate you, Drew Garabo. Don't go anywhere because Drew Garabo Live starts in about 7 minutes. But before we do that, we'd love to tell you about our good buddy, Jeff Borum.
We love Jeff. Jeff's a great dude, and he knows this real estate market better than anyone because he lives here. He grew up here. He knows the right place to move from and the right place to move to. That's why you need to go with Jeff Borum.
That has never been more important than right now because Florida, specifically the Tampa Bay area, is going through a lot of changes. You have people that are moving out because of the storms. You still have storm-damaged property, and then also just the influx of people that are moving out after the Russian COVID. That's why you want someone who knows the area when it comes to flood zones, hot zips, the neighborhoods that are going to work for what you need. That's why you've got to go with Jeff Borum and Team Borum.
Team Borum is powered by EXP Realty, and Jeff will give you options. Buy your home, sell your home, rent your home. That's why we trust and love Jeff Borum. You can too. Google him right now, BORHAM. And if you go with Team Borum, you could be packing tonight.
Thanks to JoJo too, Judge Juicy. Appreciate you.
Turn around and I see you stop everything I'm doing just to please you. There could be 1 million things on my mind, but I drop them all down for you. Can't deny this.
You're listening to Setting Show on 102.5 The Bone. We are Real Raw Radio. 102.5 The Bone. Tell us what you think. Head to the 102.5 The Bone app now and leave us an open mic. Now, a Bone traffic update from the Farah and Farah Personal Injury Attorneys Traffic Center.
275 South incident at I-4 has finally been cleared. No more shoulder blockage. 275 South at the Flora-Braska exit, however, we do have a few vehicles off to the right shoulder, so proceed with caution. A crash, Dr. King eastbound at around Valrico Road. 7-minute delay there. Westbound traffic affected a bit as well. In the St. Pete Beach area, a structure fire that will affect traffic on Gulf Boulevard, so proceed with caution there. 10 to 15-minute delay northbound, back not quite to the Pinellas Bayway. This is Eric in the Farah Traffic Center.
Accidents don't happen between the hours of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. And that's exactly why the team at Farah and Farah is available to take your calls 24/7. If you've got questions, they've got answers. For a Farah fight, day or night, you know who to call. Tampa.
How do we respond to lowball offers from insurance companies?
With relentless litigation. For the justice you're entitled to after an accident, you know who to call.
Make it a Farah fight. Farah and Farah.
Tampa.
John Senning here for Furman Ford, Clearwater's big Ford store. From social media to the evening news, everyone is talking about the Ford Employee Pricing Sales Event. If you've been waiting, trying to figure out that perfect time to buy a new truck or SUV, guess what? The time is now during the Ford Employee Pricing Sales Event. What does that mean for you, you might ask? You pay exactly what a Ford employee pays across a full line of trucks and SUVs. This is an unprecedented opportunity that's going to give you massive savings on some of America's best-selling vehicles. You need to go see Bob Murray and my friends at Furman Ford today. They've got that beautiful brand new showroom on US 19 in Clearwater, and you can always check them out online at FurmanFord.com. Furman Ford, from America, for America, and make sure you let them know that John Senning sent you.
Thinking about buying your first home? Now, with Third Federal, you can buy your first home and pay no PMI. Hi, I'm Mark Stefanski, Chairman and CEO of Third Federal. Private mortgage insurance, or PMI, can cost thousands of dollars over the life of your loan. And you may not realize PMI doesn't protect you. It only protects the lender in case of default. But at Third Federal, you can buy a home with just 5% down and no PMI. Plus, first-time home buyers get $750 off a closing cost. So if you're thinking about buying your first home, go for it and visit thirdfederal.com.
Even before you find a home, lock in 6.625%, APR 6.685% on a 30-year fixed-rate purchase mortgage. Visit thirdfederal.com or call 1-800-3rd-FED today. APR reflects 15% down for $350,000 loan amount. Rate requires automatic payment program and is subject to change. Restrictions apply. See conditions for closing cost coupon at thirdfederal.com/FTHB. Equal housing lender.
Fence Outlet has helped our customers keep children and pets safe with quality fences for over 30 years. Now is the time to install your Fence Outlet fence. Visit fenceoutlet.com today to set up your free estimate and discover our wide selection of fencing options. License number C-10252 and C-10803.
It's win or go home in the NBA playoffs, but not for new customers on the Hard Rock Bet. New signups get a bonus back up to $100 if the first bet doesn't win. Or if you'd rather bet on golf, we got another major teeing off this month. Your first bet works like a mulligan. If you land in the water, you get up to $100 back for tee off again. Make every point, rebound, and assist mean more. Every goal, every shot, no matter what sport you prefer, Hard Rock Bet makes it easy to bet on the playoffs in just a few easy taps. Download the Hard Rock Bet app online now or go to hardrock.bet. Offered by the Seminole Tribe of Florida. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Florida to wager. Terms and conditions apply. Concerned about gambling? Call 888-MINUTE.
Hey, did you know that with Frontier Fiber Internet, the best Wi-Fi isn't just for VIPs anymore?
So even if I have less than 1 million followers?
Or me, a total noob?
What if I'm not in the metaverse yet?
Yeah, now everyone can get Wi-Fi 7 with a premium Eero router on Fiber 500 and up. Now starting at only $39.99 per month. Switch to the most advanced Wi-Fi on 100% fiber internet. Only from Frontier. Good to go. In select areas, price for 12 months with autopay. ETF terms apply. Max speeds wired. Actual average and Wi-Fi speed vary.
It's 6:30 and the branch is closed.
Yep.
And you couldn't find your debit card.
Nope.
But you're going to get cash.
Yep. Cadence Bank Live Teller has extended hours, and I can get cash from my account with my driver's license.
My bank can't do that.
Nope.
With over 300 live teller locations with extended hours, there's opportunity here. Find a live teller near you at cadencebank.com/live teller. Equal opportunity lender, member FDIC.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
How did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you. All of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Malcolm is a listening learner. So he checks with Babbel's speech recognition to be
Precio.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Time marches on, and a lot has changed. But one thing has not changed. Washington regulations on local stations. Regulations that make it tough for local TV and radio stations to compete with global big tech platforms. If you want to keep local news, weather, and live sports on TV and radio, we need updated regulations. Tell Washington to modernize the rules to help local stations compete. Learn more at nab.org/modernize the rules. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Injured? Hire America's largest injury firm, Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
1025 The Bone. Real Raw Radio. WHPT, Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete. And 107.3 WXGL HD2 St. Pete. Live from the WeatherTight Windows studio.
My name is Drew. Pronounced with the O.
It's in your face with Drew Garabo.
If I'll write it and we'll do it live.
No, I'm just walking around.
Oh, all right. Well, you enjoy that. I love you, bud, and I'll talk to you later, okay?
All right, you too.
Live from the 102.5 The Bone Studios in St. Petersburg, Florida. It's Drew Garabo. Live.